What is smoking canna family? It is your host, Dustin, with two buds in a jar. How you guys doing out there tonight? We are back with another live stream. There is so much going on in the two buds in a jar world. A lot of content to come, a lot of things to get into. So we're going to start by getting into the first thing like we always do. And I'm going to go first with my current grow. Now, I'm doing the Northern Lights and the Grape Ape grow. It is a purely indica grow, and I got a lot of CO2. If you're wondering, my rates are 1,200, which is pretty high. But we're keeping it good and we're steadily feeding them girls Fox Farm nutrients, and they're absolutely loving it. They're going to get a feeding tonight, Canna family. So it is going to be great. I got to say, I have no complaints with these. I grew 42 Fastbud Northern Lights autos, and I grew Grape Ape Royal Queen Seeds autos, and they were great. I got to say, the Northern Lights germinated quite easy. But I did only germinate one. The grape apes, I did have a little problems with the germination, but I did overwater the pucks. Once I gave them more air to breathe, they began to germinate. So, I mean, after that, I had no problem. I got them into some Frog Fox Farm soil. God, that's a mouthful. Happy Frog Fox Farm soil. But anyway, man, I got them into some of that. Got them into some AC Infinity 5 gallon pots. Got them under the SD44 light. It's 430 watts by AC Infinity and kept it going. And it's been doing absolutely great. The buds are actually starting to fatten up rather, and they're collecting, more and more layers to them. And they're getting frostier. And I'm seeing some color which is, I mean, damn, this grow went pretty fast, I gotta say. Would you say that's pretty normal, Harry? But there are orange hairs on some of them now, sir.
Yeah, those autoflowers with that ruderalis, they just seem like, within 2 months they're done, They
Yeah,
just go
I mean,
so
yeah,
fast.
it's usually like a short amount of time. It's like 11 to 12 weeks, I believe, for
And
an auto or something like that. I can't remember specifically, but God, this
and
one's went really quick.
and I used to think that like the ruderalis plant was like weak. I thought it was like just garbage. And then after studying it, after we did that little video, I was like, wow, this plant is hardy, it's strong, it's fast. I think its only downfall is it's really low in THC.
Yeah, and it's primarily higher in CBD, just like Harry was saying, and it's low in THC, the psychoactive component to it. But why it's so important, guys, is because of its genetics and how quick it matures and gets done, and its small little height. That's where they got autoflower genetics. Now, it is in a species of cannabis all its own, so it's not hemp. Scientists once thought it was related to hemp. They found out it is just in the herbaceous species of cannabis genus. So, I mean, after that, they had to relabel it, essentially. So,
And when you grow something like, a traditional photo period and you grow the ruderalis or an autoflower with the ruderalis genetics in it, you do start to realize there are some key differences in your photo period to your ruderalis.
yeah. And I gotta say, they do come from like Eastern Europe to Russia areas. So, where it gets its genetics and its ability to fight off pests and disease, these certain autoflower strands, is because of ruderalis. So it gets a lot, plants get a lot, autoflowers anyway, get a lot of genetic traits from these specific plants that no one would really want. Now, you can purchase these guys. If you're wondering, like ruderalis or ruderalis, there's two different pronunciations to them. Um, However, you can find these in local seed banks. I believe Royal Queen Seeds has them. However, they're very high in CBD and very low in THC. And I'm talking about low. We're talking about 2, 3, sometimes 5%. I've
Yeah,
seen
they're pretty low.
11% be the highest percentile of some ruderalis,
But
but there's not much study done.
and it is interesting to think. So if you're crossing the ruderalis, which is high in CBD, with something like a sativa, which is typically low in CBD, Would
and
it
high in
change
THC.
that sativa to behave more like an indica?
Absolutely, because CBG, CBN, and CBD are primarily the cannabinoids in indica. So that's kind of what gives you that MS indica effect. But there is one more thing there, the terpenes. So the terpene profile would have to be correct too. So it'd have,
So the
yeah,
terpenes also do play a role in that.
yeah. So that there would have to be a huge amount of carotene present in this cannabis. There
So,
would have to be sedative
so without the
terpenes.
terephthalene, you wouldn't get the same effects as indica. You would
No,
still get the same effects as sativa,
yeah.
even though the CBD is present.
Yes, you would get the energy and then it would wear off and plateau into a strong CBD effect. Or you might not get the effect from THC at all because, of course, CBD combines better to our cannabinoid receptors or CB1 and CB2
Well,
receptors in the
doesn't
brain.
it balance it out? If you would take like too much THC, you could take some CBD and it would knock that high down, so you wouldn't feel so,
Yeah.
messed up.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Harry. It will definitely balance it out. So if you're somebody that gets too high and may not be able to tolerate it, CBD is something really good to bring you back down. Also, if you're somebody that's sensitive to THC, maybe, a CBD strand would be right up your alley. I highly recommend a strain called Charlotte's Web if that's the case. Look into that. Many companies do carry this particular cultivar and different CBD cultivars. We got somebody in the chat.
Yeah, Rob says, you said that you already see colors, and it makes me think if my eyes were as squinted as Harry's, I wouldn't even see color.
Yeah, yeah. Old Harry Cola, man. He blows down and we do before every stream, man. That's usually the case. YouTube hates it, but it is what it is, guys. We're here to entertain you, not YouTube and Google. So shout out to the Canna family out there. Almost all 3,000 of you guys at this point,
And
2,600.
and you guys can't see the studio lights that we have set up, and
Yeah.
they're very bright and
Yeah.
like in our face.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the reasons Harry's sitting there because we have light colored eyes, guys. And when you have light colored eyes, the snow, a bright summer day, you really need sunglasses. You're gonna be
Every time,
squinting, yeah.
every time I walk outside from my house to outside, I'm sneezing 3 times. Every time,
Sneezing, yeah.
3 sneezes.
Harry's allergic to the sun. Now, me, I mean, I get color, man, but God, that really hurts my eyes, I gotta say. I have like brighter green eyes, and yeah, it just hurts. Well, color changing, but they're green. Harry's is color changing, but often blue as well, or gray, it kind of. So, light colored eyes, and what
They're
happens
rough.
is, yeah, speaking, if you have brown colored eyes, you can see in well lit areas better. So, it's not that let me explain this. So I think it's interesting though.
Yeah,
So a little off the topic here. When people have brown eyes and people have light eyes, now brown kind of reflects that light more and light kind of allows more in. That doesn't mean one person's vision's better than the other. You both have 20/20. That's kind of not what this is about, but it's rather how the coloration and the pigmentation allows light and deflects light. And darker colors deflect light in this case while light is being brought into your lens and the lighter colors open up and is more susceptible, and that's why it's harder to see because it becomes brighter to you, but with somebody with darker colored eyes it's normal daylight to them, they can see in it.
right,
Now when it becomes darker, people with brown eyes and darker eyes, it's harder for them to see, and people with lighter colored eyes are able to see because you're able to open your eyes finally and allow all that light, if any, in. And you can tell different, something is darker, you can tell it's further away than something that has different shades of darkness to it.
right.
So, and so or a little fun fact there. I got
Right.
my words mixed up. I'm saying fun and fact, but
Yeah, it was the
yeah.
pigment of light colored eyes was interesting too because what it allowed is like when we used to live, in like cave systems and stuff, when we would come outside, we would sneeze. And that would help get toxins and stuff out in the outside opposed to sneezing inside where those toxins are going to stay all around us.
Maybe that's why, Harry, you're always around flowers, man. You got all that pollen, and you just sneeze it out finally once you go outside and,
Yeah.
clear all that keef out of your lungs now.
Yeah, probably.
But
That makes sense. That checks.
speaking of which, well, there is a lot going on here, Cola Man, with your grow between the trellis net and the rehousing. And so, do you want to explain,
Oh, okay, I
kind of?
guess. So, everything in the AC Infinity tent is really going swimmingly well. It's really beautiful in there. You saw the one on the left that I did the root busting video on. It's catching up to the other one now. It did exactly what I thought it would do. It just had a little bit of a limitation at the bottom where it wasn't growing down. And that's what I needed it to do to get bigger. So I mean that one's really doing well, and everything in there is
Absolutely.
just it's just so easy because it's all mostly AC Infinity. Maybe if I had like a terraformer, that would be like the icing on the cake for that tent. But with the equipment that I have around it, and they're sativas, so a little bit of a warmer temperature is great for them. So they're just really doing fine. Now, the mimosa cake was doing rough in that little tent. It just got too cramped up in there. It didn't have the space that it needed. And plus, I messed up a little bit on my feeding. I should have switched to the flower food sooner. And with the Ruderalis, because they eat so quickly, you don't really need to. And that transition, it seems like it's so fast. You don't
Absolutely,
have to
Harry.
step it down like you would with your photo periods. So I really could just go from the Mega Grow to the Mega Bud and not have to do any fancy step down process with these ones. So
Yeah,
I shouldn't
yeah.
have done a step down process. I learned that lesson. And I could keep them in there till a certain height, but once they get a certain height, I have to get more space. And the only place I could think to do that was literally the bathroom. I figured it's controlled for the most part. I have reflective surfaces. I could put the light up higher. I could add the fan. I could add a dehumidifier or a humidifier or whatever I need. So, and once I realized I really didn't need the humidifier, I needed more of the dehumidifier in there, but it fixed it really quick. And every day since then, which I had to take some of Dustin's advice, he said the autoflowers, they eat quicker. They need the tap water because it has more parts per million in it than cutting it down and reducing the tap water. And then I can't do the thing that I normally do where in between I'll give them a little bit of just regular water. Can't do that. I got to give them food. When they guys let them get dry, they get their feeding
Yeah. Oh,
because they're again it's ruderalis and it just eats up everything in the soil so fast. You have 2, 3, maybe 5 days minimum, and or maximum, it's gone.
and keep in mind why we are doing so much feeding and so fast. I want to implicate is because we're using organic CO2 and our parts per million are anywhere from 1200 to 800, as well as Harry's. And as well, um, with that much CO2 intake, your plants are going to eat more and more frequently. So when your plants do dry out in autos, you definitely don't want to run water through it. If you just fed and your plants look hungry, which in case if you're using CO2, they're uptaking those nutrients a lot more often. So you're definitely going to want to feed them more often.
We got a comment from Stony Grows. He says, "What's up, Gromies? Stopping by to show some growers love."
Who was it again?
Stony Grows.
Shout out to Stony Grows. Thank you, Gromy, man. Good to see you in the chat, man. Stop by anytime. Much love, man, from Two Buds in a Jar.
He says he has the CO2 bag. Are you talking about the one with
Yeah,
mycelium?
the ones with mycelium are really nice. I use those in my Cali Grow tents, and they worked excellent. You can find them on Amazon. You either probably got it from Amazon, I assume, or from a gardening store, and they work excellent. You can also use active dry yeast in a milk jug. Just take a milk jug, clear it out, fill it halfway full of water, put some active yeast, 2, 3 cups of sugar in there, and leave the top off, and that will jack up your CO2 tremendously, anywhere from 800 to 1200 parts per million. And I mean, you will have to change it out within a week to about 2 weeks, depending on how much yeast and how much sugar. Don't go too overboard because you will create well, it'll blow up. I mean,
Happy
honestly, yeah.
Hydra.
So, yeah, man, they're awesome bags, I gotta say. I used them for my last grow. They worked with my Gorilla Cookies, or Gorilla Glue. I'm sorry, not Gorilla Cookies. I was growing Gorilla Glue number 33, and it really helped structuralize and grow that canopy. Like you can tell the plants really enjoyed the mycelium bags.
Yeah, they eat up that CO2. You know, CO2 really is if you're thinking of like growing a cannabis, like building a house, the CO2 is like your lumber, you know, and the
Absolutely.
more lumber you have, the more floors you can build. But you're also going to need more hammers and nails, and that's like your nutrients, and you're going to need more cement, and that's your water. So you need all these things to build a house. If you're missing any of them, you're going to run into issues.
Absolutely, but I just wanted to implicate, yeah, that's why me and Harry are doing this and feeding it so often. Because essentially your plants are on fast forward mode when it comes to CO2 and they're uptaking a lot. You would be surprised sometimes you have to feed them. You'll go from normal, like, oh, let's say you always fed your autos once a week and you're going to twice a week. Sometimes, if you're really pushing them CO2 levels high during flower, you're going to have to feed it maybe once, twice, maybe, even three times, like, in 1 week. And that's a lot of food,
Yeah,
but they're using it.
yeah, they will, especially
And
if it's
yeah,
autoflowers.
yeah. And
Now,
just be careful, read your dosages.
your photo periods are going to uptake that a bit slower, so that you might have to feed them a little bit sooner. Might be like a 5 days they need fed, but I don't think they'll go as quick as what the autoflowers will.
Absolutely, yeah. It really puts the fast forward clock on your autoflowers, that dry active yeast and sugar and water. If you really want to grow cannabis real quick and fast forward it, and you're an impatient type of person, not that I am, I was once until I started growing. And actually, garden taught me patience as a person, years ago. So, but it does
Yeah.
work, the CO2.
Yeah, you learn like you don't just put a seed and in a few days you have
Yeah,
buds. You know,
yeah,
it
yeah.
takes some time for it to
You learn how
grow,
much time, love, effort,
and then
knowledge
that
goes into it.
that ending area too. You got to figure out, well, do I want to give it 2 more weeks? And you gotta, if flushing is kind of a good thing to do and give yourself like not you're not just like running a bunch of water through your medium in the last couple days. You're just giving it water, just pure water, the last couple weeks to kind of flush out that residual salt, the residual buildup in your medium.
Exactly. Like Harry was saying, the residual salts and nutrient buildup. And also, it kind of leaches your soil. And then once your soil is leached with pHed water, so if you're flowering and you're doing it at 6.3 pH or 6.5, you want to do, 6.5 or 6.3, that water simply, and run a lot. And what this will do is take your plant and allow it to pull up any available nutrients and really send it to those bud areas because that's the area that your plant is focused on at that time. So this is why I believe, and I've smoked harsh bud without, draining or leaching the soil as well, or draining, or whatever you'd like to call it. There's many terminologies to it, but running a lot after flowering.
We got more comments from Stony Groves. He says, I'm running some JR token clones right now. I posted some videos. I'm new at this. September be 2 years. I have a full petrol grow going 4x4 in flower and a 2x4 in veg. That's pretty sweet. I hate autos because I suck at autos. I agree. I've tried two now. It's difficult. I've fought but I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. You just have to watch them. They're like 2 year olds. You know, you can't leave them alone. You have to keep your eyes on them because they're gonna do something.
Yeah. Now, Stony Groves, I've been doing this for, a couple decades now plus, and I gotta say, man, when I first tried autoflowers, they are very sensitive. So you got to get their feeding on schedule. You got to, not give them RO water because there's things in RO water that
There's nothing in RO
yeah,
water.
there's nothing. So
It's for
yeah, there's
diluting.
things in tap water is what I meant to say is essentially, micronutrients, so they are very sensitive and they are a different creature. And Harry found out real quick, he understood and studied photo period, for instance, but
Well,
he found
yeah,
out autoflower was a whole different beast.
well,
And
yeah, but
I
okay.
told him as much knowledge, I crammed it, into his
So,
head, and
so 15,
He,
14 years ago when I originally studied growing cannabis, like we didn't have a ton of information on it. It was illegal to do and all that. But I got my hands on the Grower's Bible and I went through that thing and studied it. And what I learned from that was, well, in that time too, like autoflowers were really like nobody was interested in that. Everybody
yeah,
was like into the photo periods. That's where it was at. So that's really what I studied. And the big deterrence for me at the time was just the cost of getting everything set up and being the availability and being able to set it. It was just, I just couldn't afford it at the time, you know. So
yeah. And also to the 2/10 thing, it's always nice to have a perpetual growth. So it's always nice to have, things in veg and things in flower, especially when you're doing photo periods, because they do take a long, they take longer to veg out and get them to where you need them, and they do take longer to finish. But when they finish and you did everything right, it's well worth the wait, I gotta say. But
or he
a lot,
said,
oh,
see what else he said. He said, I have some night owls going outside at the moment.
I know.
I learned patience.
Yeah,
I've been doing living soil. That's cool.
yeah, that is cool.
Built a soil earth box and some 15-gallon pots. I want to get my hands on some of those 15-gallon
Yeah.
pots.
Yeah, I know AC Infinity has 7 to 10 gallon ones, and I definitely want a couple 10 gallon ones for some photo periods and videos.
Says I keep one growing most times. I can tell it's the hair. Uh, he says he uses Boogie Brew filters and don't pH.
Huh.
Now, if you're growing outdoors,
Yeah.
you don't necessarily have to pH outdoors if your biome in your soil is healthy and strong. If you have a healthy, strong soil biome, that biome, the organisms in there will adjust the pH for you in your living soil.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to worry about the pH in living soil. You have to worry about the pH when you're using tap water and harsh chemicals and stuff on your soil or like synthetic stuff too. Then you have to worry about the pH more because you don't have your microbes in there just able to fix everything on a whim.
And I must say, to have that, space and availability is awesome, man. Definitely. But we use that Great White, which has 23 different mycorrhizae to it. And then we use Happy Frog Fox Farm.
Which that has
No,
mycorrhizae in
it
there
has
as well.
23 different. So you're working with like 46 different mycorrhizae. And plus, we feed our soil sugars, blackstrap molasses, and honeys. And we create quite the, I would say living soil in a
Well,
sense, but we don't do it by hand. We just kind of amend it. We
yeah.
buy things and put them together
Well,
and
too, when you're
ultimately, but it does take a lot of space and know how to do
well,
that. So shout out, man.
it,
We've studied that, the living soil.
yeah, is it living soil
Super
sounds
sore.
great. It
Yeah.
sounds great to use.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be rather, and it's more cost efficient too. That's another thing. Instead of spending, excuse me, $20 to $25 on a bag of soil like you would with, Happy Frog or Fox Farm, for instance, Ocean Forest or whatever you're going to buy, you can ultimately create a bunch of soil that has your living biome and microbes in it.
And what I've
And
recently
you're
heard, that Gaia Green, I always wondered why its were so little. And then I heard that you use that typically for or living soil. So I was like, oh man, that makes more sense why it would be so low
yeah.
because the soil already has it in there. It's just that little bit for the plant and the microbes.
And then there's some soil you guys should really check out. I found this fascinating, and truthfully, it still blows my mind. It's called Indicana. It's made by Purple Cow,
Indiana.
and Indicana, like indica cannabis, yeah,
Yeah.
like Indicana, but it's a super soil. And when they did soil tests on it, it over time slowly releases all the nutrients through the entire stage of your plant's life. All you have to do is pH that water. So if you're in veg, you give it that 6.0. If you go into flower, you give it that 6.3 water or
Well,
6.5,
now,
and
okay.
that releases
Now,
the amount of nutrients that
when
it needs.
I
No nutrients needed.
thought I heard before, especially with autoflowers, if you change the pH too drastically, it could cause pH shock to the plant.
It can, 1 to 2 points change, and that's why, guys, you should always water your seeds. Personally, this is just my opinion. I mean, everybody has their own way, but at 5.9, that way you're only doing a point 0.1 up, and you don't shock it. You guys ever go to grow those autos and they get all stumpy and small? That's why it had pH shock. And no one can really sometimes you get them autos, and I always wondered myself, why do I get these autos and some of them grow like bushes and the other ones are like this big, and I did the same exact thing, no nutrient problems, no nothing. That's why, essentially.
pH.
Yeah, pH shock. So, and a lot of people, and it's not like it gives off yellow leaves or this or that, like noticeable things that you would see, rather, but it's pH shock. So it's always good to have your germinate, like your seeds you're giving water, and your little plantlings 5.9. Don't do the 5.8 or 5.7. Go to 5.9 and do that. That way, there's no chance of pH shock whatsoever, whether you're using an RO regimen or a regular tap water that you're pHing
Well,
up and down with liquid or
but
crystallized pH up and down.
I learned with my tap water,
Don't use the crystallized pH up and down. Sorry, Eric.
at
Just use
least
the liquid.
at least for my photo periods, they seem to like it when I dilute the water. So I'll do like a 50-50, one part tap, one part RO. And that seems to work really well. I am going to do an experiment in the future at some point where I'll do one that's my mixture and one that's just tap. And I'll do everything the same, just that one difference, and see if there's any difference. And whichever one looks better is the one I'll go with. Like
Yeah.
I'll have to do the experiment a few times to fully to be 100% certain, or have close to that. I'd have to do it like 100 times to really be like, okay, yeah, for sure it's this. But
And going back to the comments section, man, I would love to grow outside because you can just grow massive, large plants, create your own greenhouse, and you can grow anywhere from 5, 6, 7, 8 foot plants. I
well,
mean,
could you
if you're growing
imagine
just outside, there's no limit to
a
the height.
sativa outside? Start it at the
It gets up
right.
to 25 feet, guys. If you never knew that, a sativa cannabis plant gets up to 25 feet. Now, an indica bush can get up to 18. That number, I'm not sure. You guys might want to check that, but I know it's way less than sativa. I know for a fact sativa can only grow up to 25 feet. Now, sometimes they can bud or be given nutrients or this or that, certain amendments that will make that way larger. Yes, it's not like they can't get bigger than 25 feet, but typically in the wild, they only get up to 25 feet,
That's
which
huge.
is, yeah, it's fucking huge. That's like 2, 3 pounds of cannabis on one, or more.
Yeah,
That's.
it's
So
a
if you
lot.
can grow outside, then yeah, you could easily grow enough cannabis to last you all year. I mean, but there's a lot of shitty. I'm not going. There's no other word for it, but shitty things about growing outside. You
Well,
got
it's
people, you got law enforcement, you got
bugs,
neighbors, you got
deer.
bugs, you got deer, you got weather you can't control. You're at the hands of Mother Nature. So if she wants 15 miles per hour winds, and you got seedlings, oh well, So
Well, I mean, if you go, there's things you can
yeah,
do like wind
yeah.
screens and stuff, but it's a
Yeah,
lot more maintenance. You got to be out there every
physical.
day and
Yeah.
looking and checking because it's just as simple as a couple stink bugs come by and land at the base of your plant and start biting into it. And those stink bugs are carrying some nasty stuff that's now infected your plant. You're sitting there thinking like maybe this is a pH issue, and you're trying to, or a nutrient issue or something. You're trying to put stuff on it to fix that, and it's a disease from a bug.
And guys outside, if you haven't set your soil and did everything, you're just growing out of the soil around you. You can have many pH issues.
Stony Gross says
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah. Nutrient. Yeah, dogs.
Dogs will tear your plants
Yeah,
up. Cats
dogs,
will tear your
cats will
plants.
tear. Yeah, some cats don't care. Some cats will shred your plants. And another thing I've learned for all you cat lovers and owners out there, there's a smell of an ammonia in your nutrients in cannabis. And I knew a couple people, their cat would always pee, not on their tent, but outside their tent.
Stony Gross says he's been dealing with flies. What kind of flies are you dealing with?
Yeah, white flies, fungus gnats. I hate flies. That's what I absolutely hate outside is fungus gnats. I make sure.
White flies are the worst.
Well,
They're
yeah,
nasty.
ugh, God, they're all disgusting. But yeah,
Fungus gnats can make your plant rot. They get
yeah,
inside of it and eat it up.
yeah. Neem oil, neem oil. It
Neem oil.
cold pressed. Neem oil.
Neem
Make sure
oil.
it's cold pressed. You can get it from places if you guys have a Walmart near
You
you.
should be able to get it there as long as it's
Yeah,
in season.
yeah.
If it's in season, if it's not season, it'll be a little bit harder to find. But
Yeah,
as
but
long as you're
it's
in
on
season,
Amazon. It's a but cold pressed neem oil will take care of
white
99.
flies. Yep,
Yeah,
white flies. You got to
yeah.
get rid of those things,
Yeah,
man.
use cold
Neem
pressed neem oil, man. And
spray.
listen, even if you have to do like if your plants are in flower, like the beginning of flower, you can spray it with neem oil and then you can pH water and do a foliar spray and wash the neem off. But what it is it absorbs into the stems, and that's what the plant or the bugs like to bite, the stems and the veins of the leaves. So that absorption of that neem oil will make that plant taste bitter and undesirable to them, and they'll leave your plant alone, especially fungus gnats.
We got new people in the comments.
Sand and diatomaceous earth is good thing. Diatomaceous earth is like microparticles of clay that you put on your medium, and when the bug crawls across it, it cuts them up because it's microscopic pieces of clay that's very sharp and acts like thin razor blades. Sand is another good thing. Green sand, you can find it at Lowe's, or they just go in child sand boxes, typically the green
Now,
sand, but you can put that in and they won't be able to burrow into your soil.
Stony Grove said he bought 20 fly bags, but I don't
Hmm.
know if those fly bags will target your white flies. You might need the neem oil. It's not expensive and you can make a ton of it. Then we got Lucas
Yeah,
Santos
yeah.
said, I had a blueberry auto that had a size of a bud. Wait, that had the size of a bud until harvest. I don't know. It could be pH shock. Oh, he had a blueberry auto that had the size of a bud until harvest.
Oh, okay, okay.
I don't know. It could be the pH shock that we were talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
See,
thanks
we
for the information, he said.
yeah, no problem, man. That's absolutely no problem. We've noticed that and we've done research into it because that's happened to myself, guys. I've got some free Skittles off seed companies. Now I'm not going to throw it out there because the unfree seeds that I paid for were gas, but the free ones that they usually send you are some just boo-boo ass
Those are
seeds,
the
bro.
reject seeds,
Yeah,
man. Those are the
yeah.
ones like we
You
can't
ain't gonna
sell
get
these.
no
Just give them away. See
yeah,
if they grow.
you're not getting no F1 to F5 phenotypes out of those. You're just getting some bullshit. But sorry for the language, guys, but that's what happens. You typically get either reject seeds or pH shock typically when you're growing auto flowers and you're switching it from, germination waterings to veg waterings or feedings. You're typically getting pH shock. And of course, it doesn't really affect or turn your plant color. So those things are very hard to notice unless you know that information.
Right.
So it's not like something you would even be able to notice is going on unless you're constantly checking your runoff.
Yeah, he
Like,
said, Stony Grove says, I've been using Lost Coast therapy. Uh,
Lost Coast therapy.
yeah, he said, good idea. It's fought 80% of the flies.
Yeah.
It's his first outdoor grow.
Oh, yeah.
Coconut
Yeah.
Grove says, Aloha, two buds and the
Coconut.
news.
Oh,
Is this the new setup now?
yes, sir, Coconut. We change it up, man. We get bored with it with a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks of filming, and we'll consistently change it up. But aloha to you, brother. How you doing out there, man?
Stony
It,
Grove says no. Why are you saying no, Stony Grove?
why no, Stony Groves? Let us know in the comments. We're a little lost in translation here. We apologize, sir. But or ma'am, I don't know. Yeah.
Just Stony Groves,
Yeah,
man.
Stony Groves, man. We're lost here. So let us know, man. But yeah, sometimes that's why that happens with autos and no one mentions that. And it's really, I mean, it was a shock for me to find it out, but it explains so much. But
Yeah,
I got these Skittles from this plant company I was saying, sorry,
Friday.
yeah, this seedling company, and these auto flowers, they grew this tall. Okay, so three of them grew this tall. Okay, like about 2.5 3 foot, I would say. That's about 3 foot. They all did, and they all showed the same growth pattern. Now these other two grew about this big, guys, like about that time, probably like literally about this big, size of half this can, okay? And it grew a 3 gram bud on it, like a lollipop, like I lollipopped a plant or something. like, in a solo cup grow. That's what it looked like. And I'm like, well, I didn't even defoliate this thing. It only grew like 8 leaves and flowered immediately. And that's what happens. It goes through that shock and that sends its cycle into, oh, I need to flower.
Right, because the plant
It's
thinks
a
I'm gonna
stress.
die. The plant thinks
Yes.
I'm gonna die, so I need to flower now.
Yes, and anytime you seriously stress out an auto, guys, its reaction is to flower. It's not because that's not why autos flower. They're genetically, grown and bred to be like that. But it does once you stress it out. Like if it's growing about this big and you may have like knocked half of it off accidentally, well, the next week it's probably going to go into flowering.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's
'cause
trying to save itself.
it's trying to save itself, its last ditch effort. So, that is it's a little information I thought was like interesting. I'd share with you guys, man. But speaking of the rudder rallis,
Coconut Grove says doing great. Babes are plentiful.
hey, yeah, man, that's always good to hear. Coconut grows. Ours is doing too. I gotta say, the Northern Lights is doing good. We updated people, but since you just jumped in the chat, man, or I gotta say, the Northern Lights is doing really good. It's a slow flower, so guys, I'll probably be still flowering that little Northern Lights you'll see in my shorts all the way up into my next grow starts because I mean that thing's slow as hell. And it's
It's
supposed to do that. Everybody's told me, like, I've never grown that strand particularly. I've grown a lot of strands and photos, fast photos, autos, this, that, the other, feminized, just regular, I've only grown two males in my life.
really
Two males, yeah. And the rest in there were females. I grew 12 plants and two of them were a male. And I
well.
noticed immediately, cut them down, put them in a trash bag, threw them in
Well,
the trash,
it
changed
can't.
my clothes, took a shower, got back in my grow room,
Well, when you
you know.
first, unless the seed is obviously if it's feminized, it has a much higher chance of coming out if it's a female, right?
Yeah,
But if
yeah.
you don't have a feminized seed, and I think is it more nitrogen? You give it a little bit more nitrogen, and it kind of almost guarantees you're going to get a male.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes if you overgive it too much nutrients, and sometimes if you stem, like if your temperatures aren't right, any type of stress, but they're typically female.
Hmm.
Unless they're bred to be a male, they're typically female plants until there's a stressor that inhibits it. And the weird thing was, I mean, my temperatures were fluctuating. They were like 70, 77, and then they were fluctuating clear down to like 60s at night, and then going right back up and down and up and down. So I think that constant fluctuation, I'm not sure what really caused it. It could have just been males at that point. But male seeds, you have that sometimes, some of, just male seeds, but typically they're mostly female, they can hermaphrodite themselves too and stress. So,
Right.
also, it's not rare when you guys grow a full good crop and do everything right, you'll get probably one good seed out of that whole crop because it's its last ditch effort to save itself. So it kind of pollinizes and uses energy out of a branch that it would and creates a seed. So you guys ever wonder, well, why you grow this gas weed and you grew this whole crop, but somehow you got one seed? That's why. And I would keep that seed and grow that seed because chances are, if it's a good, solid, good marked seed and it's solid and it's probably good,
Yeah, you
you
never
know?
know. You never know what you might get from it.
Yeah, it's not
But
like a bag seed.
do you
You
think
grew it yourself. You know what strand it came from. You
do
know
you,
the
well,
genetics.
like what are the odds that that seed could grow a Hermie easier than now because it came from a Hermie?
It can, yes, it has, and that's the thing that sucks about it. So it is a gamble. I forgot to throw that out there.
That's how, yeah, because I
Yeah,
was like, wait a minute.
yeah. It's predominantly it's more genetically prone to be a hermaphrodite. It can be a male or a female. So it's a genetic gamble. But I've done
It'd
it
be interesting.
twice and had good results. They were female. I mean, they had some weird genetic mutations like extra leaf fingers, but
I've seen this thing
you
where
know.
people will harvest a plant, right? But they won't harvest all of the plant. They still leave some of it back and then they'll re-veg it. What do you think about doing stuff like that?
It's highly stressful and lowers your yield.
So it's
Scientific, yeah,
probably not
because
optimal.
if you guys take a plant, and I don't know why anybody would do this because some seeds are really cheap and it's not like you can, $7 for some seeds, sometimes it's even cheaper, but or you breed seeds or know people that grow. Of course, all you guys that are in the chat probably know people that grow, people that smoke. So, you can get clones, seeds, this, that, or you can go buy seeds. But to flower a plant, get its overall yield is what you're going to do. And then you're going to put it into re-veg, which is going to take weeks. I think it takes 8 weeks or longer for it to hit finally veg and realize it's vegging again because it's such a traumatic experience for this plant. And then it goes right back into veg, and from there it has to build all these leaves, more root systems, more branches. So it just takes so damn long. Just harvest it and grow another one. I mean, obvious, because it's going to take that time, that same amount of time. Yeah.
Right.
So, and people just did that, I think, to see if they were like, could you harvest from this plant like you can from, let's say apple trees, and they regrow apples the next year? Is this
Right.
possible with cannabis? And that's where a
Which
lot of that came from.
it is, but it's probably not the most cost effective way to go about it.
Now, I can see if you're broke and you did it, okay, but your grows are going to take a lot ass longer when you could probably hit up somebody with some clones, some seeds, something, find some bag seeds and work with them, like even,
Yeah,
you know.
making a clone and like monster cropping it's not that difficult, but I would recommend taking the clone and veg because it's a little bit simpler to do it that way.
Yeah, Harry did this whole process where he took this branch, so he got a clone, and then he had to re-veg the clone from flower and then regrow it. And that was
The last gorilla
the
cookies.
last gorilla cookies. You guys seen that big, bushy,
Th
colored maroon?
those gorilla cookie genetics
Yeah.
are just tank genetics. They are monsters. Like I grew that
Oh,
thing almost all the way at
God.
tiny 10.
Guys, if you want some good hardy genetics, I highly recommend anything gorilla. Like, if you're a sativa type of dominant person and indica, like lower indica, like, and you like the gorilla cookies, strawberry gorilla, gorilla glue number 33, number 4, those are really good phenotypes and strands to work with. They're really hardy plants, like Harry was saying. They eat really well. They're really resistant. You can clone off of them really well.
Lucas
You know,
Santos asks, have you guys ever grown anything from compound genetics, specifically those jokers? Jokers spelled with a Z.
compound genetics. No, I can't say that I have, Canafam. I've tried, what is it right now? Herbies.com, Royal Queen Seeds, and Barney's Farm are the ones I
Oh,
kind of.
the 42 fast
Oh,
buds.
and 42 Fast Buds. I'm sorry. Yep,
Have we
those
gotten
two.
anything from North Atlantic yet?
No, but
They have some
no.
fire over there.
Yeah, North Atlantic has, and Soulfire, guys. Check out DNA Genetics, Soulfire, and North Atlantic Genetics. You want some gas like that? Yeah.
They have some good strands, some really
All
good
yeah.
cultivars.
Yeah, like there's 4 different crosses in these guys, like every strand. So there'll be like wedding cake mixed with great modified grapes, mixed with Girl Scout cookies, mixed with blueberry pie or something. Like one of those 4 strands, and they'll cram them all into this exotic profile and just this gas. So they're definitely worth checking out. But no, I haven't grown anything from Compound Genetics. It was.
Yeah, compound genetics.
What about you, Harry? No, just 42 fast buds and
Just 42 fast buds and whatever the
Herbies.
amnesia. What was the amnesia haze?
The amnesia. Hey, oh, that was from Hydro Gardens and Lights. Their
Yeah, I'm not sure.
marriage grow kits.
Yeah, yeah.
Marriage grow kits. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Anything in the chat?
Nothing new.
Okay, cool. But anyway, guys, so there's a lot of different autoflowers to choose from in those. So again, that's Soulfire DNA Genetics, guys. They are really great. And I've never heard of Compound Genetics, dude
We'll have to look
mentioned.
them up. Maybe
But
maybe
yeah,
there's another seed video
yeah,
coming
I
up.
love when you guys come into the comment section, honestly, and you mentioned we had a guy that was really pushing Gaia Green and stuff, and I looked into that, and I'm like, all right, but right now we're full of seeds, all different kinds.
Well,
Me and
isn't
here,
Gaia Green a fertilizer?
it's an organic nutrient.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
A nutrient. Yeah. 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 It's a fertilizer. Okay. Yeah. My bad, man. Watermelon hit my brain. The watermelon OG is working. It's real, guys.
Yeah, that watermelon, man, that's fire.
But like some guy was really pushing Gaia Green. I think his name's Michael, man. Shout out to you, man. I checked it out. And something we want to use, like I like Fox Farm personally. That's just what I use, but I am all for any type of equipment, any type of what's it called? Nutrients, any type of genetics. We'll try it on the
Additives.
yeah, additives. We'll try it on the channel. We're all
As
for
long as
that.
it's nothing that's going to make the bud become
Yeah, we just won't do things like Miracle Grow
PGRs.
and PGRs. We don't do
Which
PGRs
isn't
and
there good ones and bad ones from what I understand, or are they
yes.
all bad?
No, there are good ones there are good PGRs and there are bad PGRs, and the bad PGRs is what you want to stay away from. But that's what most, well, not most, but some dispensaries will use to increase their yield. And you can tell because a PGR bud is shaped kind of like an indica nugget, guys. So on this indica nugget, it will be condensed, it'll be hard and heavy, but it won't have no scent. It'll just smell like hay to you. And a lot of times they spray these buds with terpenes. So they'll find, synthetic terpenes or organic terpenes, and they'll spray this cannabis and load it up with PGRs to get a giant yield. Giant yield equals more money. So be careful of that. We did a whole video on PGRs and why we don't use them. If you're wondering even what a PGR is, just go
Well,
check out the video. We'll explain it
I would like to use
because
the good
it's a better
ones
definition.
just to
Yeah.
see how it affects
Yeah.
the buds.
B12, okay, is a good example of a natural organic PGR. And it's a plant growth hormone, basically.
It's not like the B12 and the vitamins.
Yeah, it's not like that. It's not like the B12 in our energy drinks or our vitamins, but B12 is something that stimulates the plant's metabolism much like it does us, and it allows it to take up almost all available nutrients every feeding completely. They do uptake what they need, but then make sure it gets maximum absorption.
Hmm.
So it's a really good, and
It
it's
sounds
also like
beneficial.
CO2. It does kick in the metabolism of the cannabis plant.
So
So
you'll
it
be
will,
feeding more.
yeah, quicker growth, feeding more because you're giving it B6. And just like us,
Or is it you said B6 is
or
B12?
B12, I'm sorry, B12. Yes, that's right, guys, B12. But anyway, it's just like us if we
Bingo.
consume B12. Yeah, bingo. But yeah, we burn up more energy and we require more food when we take vitamin B12, and that's the same way with cannabis plants. And that would be a perfect example of a organic OK PGR to use. Great White is not a PGR; it's a mycorrhizae, but it's another great thing that you can add to enhance to your plant's growth. Black strapped unsulfured molasses, and it's very important that it's unsulfured because if you just get regular molasses and figure out it's good enough, it'll give your plant sulfur problems. So you'll have
It'll be a
sulfur
nutrient
deficient.
lockout
Yeah,
because of the
yeah,
salt, right?
yeah. It's just a lot of issues. So just get blackstrap unsulfured molasses. Honey is another one. The more real and organic honey you can afford to give your plants, the better. If not, just stick with the little bear. That works too. And the honey bear everybody's fond of and knows. Usually it's in different states. I mean, I'm sure all you guys from everywhere watching has some form of little honey, either what hive or honey bear. But those are good,
Yep.
natural additives to your cannabis. Another good one, silica. If you're familiar with silicas, we have episodes on that. If you don't know what that is, or if you're familiar with it, you guys know watching. That's another good additive for your cannabis plants. Vitamin
Yeah, but
B12,
you do
blackstrap
you
molasses.
do have to be careful with the silica. You can't just feed
Yeah,
it silica from the beginning of its
that,
life to
yeah.
the end of its life, or you're gonna end up with a lockout because of the silica.
Yes, we've done videos to better explain this in detail, but to run it short for you guys and not bore you with all the Bill Nye the Science Guy cannabis stuff, we do here on the channel. But Anyway, what silica does is it takes the plant simply and allows it to absorb everything at full potential to get its full genetic physiology. So you're getting the full coloration of those flowers, you're getting the full terpene smells, you're getting the full yield. And of course, if you overdo it, much like Harry said, You will
I've
have
done.
reduction of all that.
I've
So you
done.
won't have no terpenes. You won't have a good
I
yield.
I have firsthand experience.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, Harry did what? It was
It was the amnesia haze.
the amnesia haze, and it did not turn out bad. We actually, if you guys are curious how that bud turned out, we got a video on that as well. We did a review on that. YouTube age restricted. They do all of our reviews usually, especially
So
ones on, like disposables and carts and things like
no,
that. But that's okay. But yeah, those are good additives to add to your cannabis plants, guys. And carb loading, I'm sorry, bleh, carb loading, during your flowering is good. And what that does is it allows you to build a stronger terpene profile, a better structure bud, a fatter bud, and it allows you to really feed the microbial properties in your soil, which is at the end of the day what it's really about. You want some really good soil. So, I mean, for us, let me highly recommend Fox Farm Happy Frog and with black strap or great white. That's what it's called. I was just talking about black strap molasses. But that's a mouthful too. But yeah, those are great. Those will work great as a living organic soil if you do not have the property to kind of like compost and make your own necessarily. So, those are great. I mean, Harry's had great root results. You can see even that he had to pull the root system apart just by adding great white in a 5-gallon pot.
well, that one, what I did is again, I was running a little experiment. I didn't really tell anybody about this one, but one pot I didn't bust the root, and the other one I did bust the root, and I added the mycorrhizae. And the one that I didn't bust the root was able to grow out horizontally with the mycorrhizae, but it wasn't growing vertically. And the one that I busted and gave the mycorrhizae, it blew up like a giant. It looked healthy and strong and big. And I looked at him and I was like, I didn't bust that root, and I need to pull it out and bust that root.
And guys, you will notice that like I don't, we're not what's it called? Sponsored by Great White, but I will hold true. If there's any nutrients or things we use to boost or help cannabis growth, and we will tell you, and we will definitely mention it. Like we've mentioned AC Infinity on this channel probably 1,000 times. We're not sponsored by them. We just love their equipment. It's
It
freaking
works really
awesome.
well.
Yeah.
It works really great.
Yeah. It's as close to a animatronic outside environment as you're going to get. I mean,
It's as close to
yeah.
a
What am I trying?
growing chamber, a
Yeah.
scientific growing chamber, for the cost that you're getting, and that's
Yeah.
probably as close as you're getting to something like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just great. But the what's it called? I was talking about the great white. The great white has explosive growth. Now, when you feed it, you only use a teaspoon. So, there's 8 ounce, 16 ounce, and then there's huge jugs for like $150. I just got the smaller 16 ounce. Harry got the 8 ounce. Hydro Gardens hooked him up with that. Shout out to Hydro Gardens and Lights. We love
Yep.
you guys. You guys are an amazing store. If you guys have a Hydro Gardens and Lights in your local area, definitely go check them out. They are a great bunch of people, great store, great genetics, great equipment. I
Yeah.
mean, they sell AC Infinity, Gorilla Grow Tent, Spider Farmer. They
Yeah.
have their own in-house lighting, so they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I gotta say. But Great White's awesome. You'll notice explosive growth right after use. Your plant will get larger, it'll get thicker around the base. So if you're always wondering outside of training how people get them like thumb thick type of, you gotta create a good biome for your microbes. You absolutely
Well,
got
it's
to.
that rhizome,
Yep,
like
that rhizome's got to work in balance with your cannabis, you know.
when you have the microbes in there too, they help hold on to nutrients, and they'll store water for the plant. They'll help adjust the pH of the plant. They'll do a lot of things for your plant that really just makes the whole growing process simpler.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you're looking to get your full potential and full yield and a bigger yield out of your plant, I highly recommend it too, because it's just going to build that root structure for your plant to later on support massive, huge buds. And I used it my first grow with the strawberries, and I got like half a pound of weed out of there
Yeah,
off
the
four
strawberries
autos.
did really well.
So yeah, yeah, I gotta say, I mean, a little over half a pound. So, strawberries was really good. They made really tasty edibles for the sativas that they were, I gotta say.
Yeah.
It had a really calming effect in an edible than thusly it did vaping it.
Well, you think that's because of the CBD from the ruderalis?
It could be. It could really be potentially from the
And
autogenetics.
when you eat it as an edible, your body's metabolizing it different than if you were to vaporize it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because your body slowly metabolizes cannabis, but through vaporizing it, you're actually immediately getting it into your bloodstream within the first 7 seconds to inhalation. So,
Okay, so we got Ace. Shoot, I'm gonna butcher this last name. Gutherine?
Guthrie.
Guthrie? Is that
Yep.
it? He says, "What's up, bro? So I gotta ask, how do I get as high as Harry looks?"
Shout out to you, Ace Bud. What's up, man? How you doing out there, bro? Much
Well,
love.
well,
But hey,
I'm not gonna lie. There is a trick to getting super high, and you're not gonna like it. You're not gonna like it. Because if you want to get super high, you have to quit smoking for like 5 days. Just don't smoke for like 5 days, and then smoke, and you're gonna be so fried, like you won't even know what's going on.
Harry Cole was caught up with some IRL type of stuff, and it just slipped his mind. He was so busy, and for 5 days he didn't even smoke until today.
Well,
And
and I think that too is just more proof. Like I can go without smoking for 5 days. I've smoked for over 20 years, almost every single day. And I can just say, you know what? I don't feel like smoking. And there's no physical ramifications for me. I was still, right. I wrote the whole sixth episode for, the last series already while I wasn't smoking. I still had tons of creativity, tons of motivation, tons of energy. This, if I don't have this, I'll be curled up on the floor,
Harry will be dying without his Mountain Dew, guys. Like, you don't
It,
understand. You'd have no content to
wi-
watch if Mountain Dew didn't fuel Harry.
Without this, I wouldn't be able to get it done either. I wake up
Yeah.
in the middle of the night sweating for a puff of nicotine.
I feel it. Yeah. Yeah. The nicotine is a binding chemical, man. It is beastie. I mean,
That
man,
nootropic.
I smoked cigarettes for years, dude, and then I switched to cigars, and then I'm like, man, I gotta quit this, And then at that point, vaping came out. I'm like, what? This tastes like fruit, and it's like way healthier, like And then I did the research. I'm like, oh, okay. So I started vaping. I enjoy smoking. Personally. I know this is kind of off topic, cannabis channel. I don't represent tobacco companies. I don't like tobacco companies, even though I say as I'm wearing a
Backwoods.
backwoods. But, I do like cigars. I can't help myself, man. It's just, I don't smoke them, but I can still like them. It's healthy to like them. It's not, that's the way I look at it. So, after a while, I stopped smoking everything. Like, every now and then I'll smoke like an organic blunt wrap, guys. But other than that, mostly I vaporize my weed through my stores and Bickle. I use
That thing's
disposables. I
great.
use carts. I just vaporize my cannabis because I smoke too much, man. Like I just between quitting smoking cigarettes and cigars years ago and up until now where I'm vaping, I just felt like I smoked entirely too much. I felt like that was all I was doing, so I wanted to
Well,
cut it down with healthier options.
speaking of smoking and not smoking, what do you think about this news with Cheech and Chong quitting?
And I think it's crazy. I think that's why everybody's mad at them, man. It's like they gave up on what they stood for, but you got to understand people are people. They make their own decisions. I mean, two buds in a jar is not openly mad at Cheech and Chong. We respect everybody
Oh
for their
yeah,
own decisions. So let me
I like
make
that
that clear.
band.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're legends, man. They're legends.
Yeah, man, they
Um,
did it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So shout out to Cheech and Chong. They'll probably
Well,
never watch
what
this, but you
the
know what I'm saying?
right, but
Yeah.
the whole thing of the direction I was going with it, man, is like they've probably smoked a
Cheech has his
lot,
own glass company and he really don't even smoke weed. Like he really didn't that often when they were making the movie, surprisingly enough.
really.
Like, yeah. So I mean for him not to, smoke that much and just run a glass kind, I think they're becoming more um business oriented at their older age than, because in the beginning it was entertainment, it was stoner stuff, it was funny, and now I think they've kind of calmed down. They're like, I want to invest in glass because Cheech, I have some of their glass and it's excellent glass, guys. I mean, it has the wig wag, it has the sandblasted, it has the
Well,
frosted,
I
it,
can't, I
it
can't,
has everything,
I
the
can't say
UV.
much for Cheech, but for Chong at least, he seems like he blew down quite a mini, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
think that like after so much time of doing it,
yeah, dude.
it in a way it's like, you do it for a while and you stop, you do it for a while and you stop, and you kind of go back and forth with it for so long, or maybe you just stayed steady with it for a long time. And if you smoke every single day for years and years and years and years, eventually you don't even like you can smoke, you don't even feel like you're getting high, you don't even feel it anymore. It's like you like see other people get fried. Man, I remember that. So there's two different sides of it, and I think too, if you do stop, especially as you get older, and then like say you stop for like I did for 5 days, and you come back to it and you go ahead and blow down like you were, 5 days ago,
Yeah.
you're gonna be so fried out of your mind that you're gonna be like sitting there with in a panic attack. Like I don't even know if I like this anymore. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it can be like Harry. Okay, here's a story, man. I'll let Harry tell it. You remember Harry, man, when you quit for I don't know how long was
I
it?
quit for 6 months one time
Harry Cola after smoking weed, guys. And this is
for
breaking news.
like over
Breaking news.
20
This should be
years.
on CNN. He quit smoking weed for how long again,
It
Harry?
was like 6 months.
6 months, guys. And then what did he do? He ended up smoking that night. And what happened?
Oh yeah, I like smoked like a half a joint, and I was so fried. I had to like lay down on the couch for a little while. I was so fried. Like I hadn't been that fried in years.
Yeah, it came over the next day and he's like, "Man, I started smoking again." I'm like, "Hell yeah, Harry." So I start breaking stuff up, rolling stuff up, getting stuff ready like usual when he smoked. I was waiting for this day and I even was like, "Man, you just
But
want to hit this all the time?" You're like, "Nope."
my
Like,
tolerance,
"All right, man."
it shoots up so fast. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, honestly, yeah, it's tolerance, but he came over the next day and he's like, "Man, I got so high, I smoked half a joint, dude, and I lay down on the couch and I was like in a THC coma." He's like, "I felt like I did when I smoked all that Granddaddy Perp." And time, guys, I rolled like a quarter of Granddaddy Perp up, man, because I loved it. It was nice and purple, it had that grape cologne funk to it. I grinded it up, man. We both smoked it. I'm not shitting you. It has a high CBD ratio in it. We took 7 grams to the face.
You feel
And
like a little kid when you're trying to fight sleep, and you're like, no, no.
you're literally nodding out, guys. Like, that was the first time I've ever nodded out off pot. I was just like, boom, on my couch. Like, I was sitting there with my phone. I dropped my phone, went to sleep. That was it. And I'm like, every time I smoke Granddaddy Purple, man, it puts me to sleep.
It's that high CBD.
That's why it's called Granddaddy Purple, because you're always taking naps. Make you feel like you're a senior citizen or something,
Yeah,
man.
makes
I mean,
sense.
no offense to nobody, but I'm just saying, like, in reference,
Right.
like it makes you feel like you're
Like
elderly,
you're a
man.
granddaddy.
Yeah, like you need to take a nap out on your rocker, man.
So if you crossed the Granddaddy Purple with Ruderalis, would it make it a great Granddaddy Purple because it has a higher CBD ratio now?
Probably, yeah. The more CBD you mix in. I was going to tell you, you remember that strand we got called Grandma's Breath?
Grandma's
That was
breath,
some
yeah,
stank ass.
yeah, yeah. We've had some Grandma's
God.
breath.
You guys want some like nose turning, we all love the smell of cannabis. Let's get real. But there are some strands that are like, damn,
Blue
dude.
cheese,
Wow. Yeah.
GMO,
Ugh. I like GMO grape. I like GMO grapes.
GMO
Yep,
grapes,
yep. GMO grapes is good, but GMO by
dumpster.
itself, dumpster smells like, dude, guys, dumpster bud, I don't know, check the strand out, look it up, grow it, do whatever you want to with this. But dude, it smells like you ever walk by a dumpster on a hot summer day and you can smell the plastic and you can smell like the dumpster? That's exactly what this weed smells like and tastes like. It is stank.
Corin says, senior citizen is hilarious.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Corn. It's good to see you in the chat again, man. You were there last time. I remember. What's up, man? But yeah, dude, freaking it does, dude. And I think it's just that CBD ratio, that profile in it. It really knocks you down, man. But Harry freaking smoked that, guys, and he was out. And we soon learned, man. We combated stories back, and forth. He told me that story, and I was like, okay, dude, I smoked it, and dude, this first time in forever, but I took a straight nap for 2 hours. And I'm like, every time I smoke this, I take a nap, dude, and it's usually for like 2, 3 hours. Like I can never just nap for 20, 30, and that's only, I don't usually nap throughout the day, but damn,
Yeah, that
uh,
granddaddy perp's a
yeah.
sleepy
And
bud.
guys, it's usually 18% like THC, so it's not like it's a heavy hitter. But that grandma's breath, dude. Getting back to that, I got off topic there with the granddaddy perp for a minute. I thought we were still on that, but that grandma's breath is some stank ass shit, guys. If you guys want some really strong, I mean, sorry about the language, but I mean it. It's some stank ass weed. Like it's gut turning. And there's another one called Donkey Breath, and
Donkey
Donkey
breath is
Breath
good.
smelled like a dirty horse stall. That's what it smelled like, but it was super frosty, super light colored. It was a really good cultivar. And then there was another one you remember called Zope, and
Dope.
it tasted like hotel soap.
Yes, soap definitely had
Like,
a soapy taste to
it
it.
was weird, man. So,
Yeah, it
yeah, I
was like
mean,
we almost thought there was insecticidal soap on the buds or
yeah,
something.
like, and we went through like a lot of this bud, man. We had quite a bit of it at the time, and we smelled it, and it looked great, got you baked, but it just like tasted like hotel soap with pine.
Yep,
Like it had a hit of pine tree and hotel soap.
yep.
Them cheap
No,
bars you
thank you.
guys get in I'm sure everybody's watching this has been in a hotel at one point, or motel, hotel, Holiday Inn. But but no, seriously, and that's exactly what it tastes like. It was, and then Harry, man. Harry loved this strand, but God, I hated it.
Oh, you're talking about a potato?
Yeah,
Potato
potato runs.
OG. That
No, it's
always
potato
runs. Those
runs.
runs, you're right.
And this
I
stuff's
liked it.
beautiful. It's like perfectly round nuggets. Like it grows like that. And it has this hints of lavender in it amongst like the pine green, if you guys can imagine. So if you took like lavender petals and put it in like a pine green colored bud, that's what it looked like. But it tastes like a dirty potato.
Yep.
I'm not kidding, guys. If you took a bite of pine needles and then went and bit a dirty potato that you never washed off, that's exactly what it
Now,
tastes like
I
the
wonder
whole time you're smoking
if you had like a
it.
really
It's
yeah,
just
a really
ugh,
gaseous
like
strand, and then you mixed it with the dirty potato strand, if you get more of a French fry flavor out of it.
probably could. I'm sure, there's some interesting, there's
We'll
one.
call it fries in the bag.
Yeah, 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 fries. Fries in the bag. Yeah, that.
That's funny.
I'm sure some of you guys know, watch what I talk about, Josh Block. I ain't going to go any further with any of that. But, he's on YouTube. Look him up, put the fries in the bag. It's funny. That's all I'm saying. I got humor out of it. But anyway, back to cannabis content here.
Cannabis
Not
content.
lol cow, internet lol cow content. You know, that's quite the crazy platform. But there are some other strands that are just horrendous and stank. But I mean, they're really good. Like dumpster bud sounds horrible, and I know, guys, like a hot plastic dumpster bag and dumpster like stank on a hot summer day. That sounds horrible. But the weed actually ain't bad, man. I mean, it has a weird ass taste to it. I'm not going to lie, but I
The
mean,
potato or
yeah.
something, the potato runs?
No, no, the dumpster butts.
Oh,
That
I don't think I
potato.
tried. I don't think I tried the dumpster.
I did, man. It was going around heavily.
Yeah, I
In one
was.
area, I was going around and they could said dumpster, but I'm like, I don't want no trash weed. And they're like, no, it's gas, dude. It just smells like a dumpster. I'm like, all right. you know?
Okay, so we got some more comments.
Okay.
Ace says Florida Kush is amazing, bro. If you ever come across 420 out of 10, recommended.
Okay. Florida Kush. I've had a lot of different Obama, Presidential, OG, Grape Kush, Banana Kush.
Rob says interesting how that mind works.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not kidding. As the years go on, I still find it quite interesting myself. I keep myself entertained with my own mind, I gotta say.
I mean,
You know?
I do it with my imagination quite a bit.
Yeah, or Harry Cola comes up with some fire ass scripts, man. You'll see what we're talking about
Oh
later
yeah,
on. At least.
we could talk. They know we dropped the pilot
Mm,
of the sitcom, but we got the first 6 episodes written out, and we'll be in production, pre-production soon.
yeah, yeah. It was just that little sitcom. If you guys haven't seen it, just go check it out. It's a slow starter, but it's wild, bro. And it's just a little dive into some cinematic things that we want to do on the channel just because we don't have enough of it on there. So that's one thing we're going to be filling. And it's just going to be wild. But the base story is, but it's a wild one, how two buds in a jar started. And you can see through the beginning, and this is all that I'm going to explain how, we just got the laptop and it was some wild adventure. I mean, we were up in air balloons, we were in the desert, we were in cannabis fields, we were here, there, everywhere. It was awesome. It was good content, I gotta say. It makes me laugh, especially when I'm baked. Harry did some pretty damn good acting in it. So definitely go check it out. We're going to have just lead into the next part and the next part. So you're going to see one drop after another. Excuse me. We'll still have our original content that we upload, like our 3 to 4 videos a week. We'll have our shorts every day, 7 days a week.
It's just like
Um,
a little icing on the cake,
yeah,
just a little
yeah,
something extra. It's more of I guess I would say it's more of a passion project, but it's also entertaining. The original script we didn't really it was more of like actions and we just kind of improvised, just messing around with it.
yeah, yeah.
But then
And
like I wanted to continue that story and keep expanding on that world, so it was like, all right, let's write
yeah,
some more stuff.
and it turned into one Harold and Kumar adventure. Of course, that's not even what it was inspired off of, but that's kind of what it ended up being. When they're like going on riding on the cheetah with that pound of weed and all this crazy stuff's going on
I
during that scene. Some of it I can't mention because this is
right.
YouTube. But if you guys have seen Harold and Kumar go to White House, I'm sure you guys have. It's an old, indies kind of classic, but it's kind of like that, but better, I gotta say. Just because all the interest in what's going on in the chat, man. Harry's reading
Ruben
over here.
says,
Let's see.
"Can we get a shout out to some special fella Crip? Who's that? Preston and Trey. I don't know. Biatch. How do you say that last name?
Hold up, can of family.
Biatch. Oh, I'm
Oh,
gonna get that.
yeah, I'll get that. Have an issue. Oh, I got it.
It's still glowing. It's fine.
Yeah, we have technical difficulties, but we'll be all
Your coil moved on you.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Special shout out, fellas.
Ooh, cords. You guys learn to deal with them when you do YouTube. You have cords everywhere. Cords on mics, cords on, lava lamps, cords on everything.
What is that?
Oh,
Peterson? Is it Crip Peterson and Trey? Uh, I don't know that last name there. Is
Peterson.
that Biot? Um,
Oh, Crip Peterson.
and Trey
Binoc.
Binock?
Yeah.
Who's that?
I have no idea, but two buds in a jar shouts out. Who is it again?
Is it Crip Peterson
Crip Peterson.
and Trey? Uh, is that Ben
Binoc
Binock?
or Binoch. Shout out to you guys from
Did,
Two Buds in
did
a
we say
Jar.
that right?
Yeah, did we say that right? Sorry, me and Harry's, a little fried, man. But yeah, shout out to you guys. Crip Peterson and
Trey
Trey Binoch.
Binock. Let's go.
Okay.
We said sweet.
Yeah. Shout out to you guys. What's up? But sorry, guys, I knocked a lava lamp over and, we experienced a little technical difficulties with it. And right now we're having some issues with it.
Is it off?
Yeah, I think I killed the bulb, dude. Won't go ahead, probably unplug it.
it,
Hold on, guys.
it happens with those things.
Yeah, just move this over here.
It was inevitable.
It was inevitable.
He says, we're sparking up and hyped for the uh, shout out, bros. We love the show. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. We greatly appreciate it, man. We try to bring you guys content as often as possible. Sorry for that little mishap with the cords about 5, 10 minutes ago. But some stuff happens like that when you're doing live stuff. So But shout out to you guys. It's much appreciated to the Canna family that definitely watches and follows the channel. And the likes and subscribes really help the channel just due to the fact that YouTube don't like this type of
I think
content.
we
But
might be shadow banned.
yeah, I think we could be lightweight shadow banned. I'm not sure, but YouTube does not like this kind of content, and we're here to stay, guys. We're not going anywhere. We got tons of strands, tons of content, tons of ideas to bring to you guys and YouTube to entertain you. And we're not here really to entertain Google or YouTube. We're here to entertain, the Canna family and,
Right.
share information and experience and create like a very chill vibe and peaceful group here, and that's what we've done so far, man. I gotta say, we've got the chat's always cool, man. We always have great people commenting and giving advice, and we have people that give advice on different nutrients and things like that. Shout out to you guys, man. We appreciate that because that could be content we can just later put on the channel and run and do some experiments. And then you at home that's wondering about the nutrients, if we got them, you might see that video. There's a few people that's been in chat. That's mentioned you should do a video on this, you should do a video on that. And we did, and it was really helpful. It helped them out. They wanted to know, the definitive difference between sativa and indica, and
Right.
we got right into that and actually did a very intricate breakdown as why. And basically, long story short, but the video is more informative. But there is cannabinoids and there are terpenes, and both of these work together. And there are certain terpenes and cannabinoids in sativa that don't exist in indica and vice versa. And that's why even genetically, structurally, they grow different. So they are two different plants. Scientists consider all cannabis plants cannabis sativa. So a lot of people think there are no difference in indica or sativa or hybrid, but that is
It's
false.
the wording is just
Yeah, it's
complicated.
it's the words and yeah, it's just people get, and it's easy because the way it's worded, it's like you could easily get misguided on
Mhm.
it. So,
Especially if you've never really studied the plant, or
yeah.
you're one of those people that have always thought, oh, it's just some evil thing, you know?
Mm.
Corin says, longtime Canna family members, and he says, hyped for the second sitcom episode. Definitely have to watch it more than once.
Hey, shout out to you, Corbin. Thank you, man. We will have several sitcom episodes coming out. That was just kind of like the trailer to show you guys what's to come. I mean, we're going to use a lot more intricate techniques, filming angles, and cinematic things to really make it pop, I gotta say.
It's gonna be wild.
Yeah, Harry's brain is genius when it comes to those type of things, I gotta say. So we give Harry credit. I do create other type of scripting and informational videos and things of that just from years off the noggin and knowing things, man, sharing them with you guys. But as far as the imaginative plus real life type of good cinematic mixture, Harry brings that to the table,
Well,
and
what I did is I studied what Hollywood's done, and then I was like, I had to learn the rules. And there is a very important reason to learn the rules, and that's because you can't break the rules until you know the rules. So once I learned the rules and figured out what they were doing, I was like, oh, okay, so this mold is actually broken, and I have to break the mold for it to work properly. So that's what I've done.
there's a certain recipe. I mean, it is, man, but it involves, mostly guys, your audience, man. You got to build a good, strong audience and a good bond or relationship with your audience. And a lot of you guys, I talk to you almost every other day, man. I see you guys in the comment section all the time. And, especially Coconut Grows is one of them.
Right.
I know that Michael's another one of them. And I mean, I'm not doxing the dude. That's just his screen name, just, in case anybody's wondering. It's probably his actual name. There's a couple other people that are always in there, doing great.
Corinth.
Yeah, Corrance is always in there. I need a drink. Uh,
Cotton.
yeah, yeah. After talking on a mic so long, your mouth goes dry and you start messing up your words and.
Right. Everything just starts
Mhm.
slurring together.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, guys, bouncing back now, but yeah, it's greatly appreciated because it does help build the community and push the algorithm. And it's you guys watching that does. The only reason why any channel does successful on YouTube is because you guys at home. And I'm not just saying that, that's logically true if you understand YouTube and the algorithm system. If you guys aren't interested or not liking the content or whatever the case may be, the algorithm knows that.
Yeah, it
You
doesn't
know,
push it as hard
it doesn't push it as hard, simply. So it's
or
you
at all.
guys are the reason why anybody on YouTube actually
And and
succeeds,
it seems
you
like
know.
whenever they age restrict the content, it seems like it goes out to less people than if it were
And
not.
that does. So, I mean, if you guys really do want to help the channel, to be honest, we don't e-beg or do any of that around here. But if you just go like the age restricted content, show YouTube like, hey, I like content like this, that would be great, honestly.
It would help.
Yeah. Yeah, we would greatly appreciate that. And we have tons of age restricted videos, and they're not vulgar, they're not distasteful, they're not hateful or anything.
I think we have
They're
videos
just
that are age restricted. You didn't even curse in it.
yeah, I don't even cuss in them. Like, guys, it's just they don't like the content. They don't like you showing dab rigs. They don't like you informing people about things. And that's what it comes down to. We just did a episode on Ruderalis. I used no swear words, no anything of that nature, guys, and they age restricted it. And all I was trying to do is inform everybody on the channel everything I knew about a Ruderalis because I seemed to know more than what was put out there. So, I mean, and I
Yeah,
watched a lot of videos to make sure none of it was really covered specifically and
and,
just made a video out of it.
and whenever
Like,
we
okay,
do those
because I
kinds of
already knew about it,
videos, right?
you know?
Whenever we do those kinds of educational videos, I also get to learn about a lot about these plants because I thought Ruderalis was just, weak and, had all these issues with it. And then when I realized like where it lived and what it could survive through and how strong that plant really was, I realized like, oh, actually it requires a different set of nutrients. It has a little bit of it's a different thing. It's its own creature, you know?
Yeah. I was just looking over that lava lamp like, damn, I killed the lava lamp.
You just have to get a new bulb
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, damn it. But
and some lava lamp
yeah,
bulbs.
yeah, it happens. It happens, man. You guys have that with those little rattly bulbs inside, and then they hit one thing, and it's like that's a done deal for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially those old school bulbs that get hot, they
Yeah.
break really easy.
Speaking of old school bulbs, is there anybody using high discharge or HPS anymore? I haven't
High
really seen
intensity
yeah,
discharge
or
or
metal halides or anything of that nature. I haven't really seen
well,
a lot of those, and they are costly
now
to push.
now they are costly to push, but I gotta think I feel like the buds that were grown under the high intensity discharge and the high pressure sodium lights produced a stickier, nastier weed, man.
Yeah,
I feel like it really did.
yeah. I mean,
It's more expensive and it's more
yeah.
dangerous. They hum, they're loud. Yeah, I get all that, but they seem like that strength from that bulb did produce a funkier bud than what we produce with
Yeah,
our LEDs today.
don't know, man.
Which we produce some funky buds with our LEDs,
Yeah,
and it just seems like those plants that were grown under the high
yeah.
pressure sodiums just had
It's
more yellow, it had more energy,
it
it just had
does.
more kick to it.
And I mean, simply the reason why it would be because you have a yellow, an orange, and a red spectrum. Your plants perceive this as fall, and those type of lights help improve flower. So ultimately, when you have a high pressurized light that's working at putting out a lot of light and it mimics the sun, it's doing the same thing with your buds. It's really making them sticky. Excuse me. However, you got the LED. Let's use my SD44 by AC Infinity, for instance. Those diodes are magnified. So even when you turn up the intensity, you got to be extra careful because those lights are very powerful and they're direct. They have a certain par in the middle, and that par changes as it goes out through either the left, right side of the canopy, and it dissipates as it goes out through the floor of your grow tent. So essentially, you got that one power spot in that light, but they are magnified. Now, if there's more red, orange, and yellow diodes, is where I was getting at in that light, and it was specifically you could change the color of those, coloration of those diodes, then you would get stuff like that. But because the plant is perceiving mostly orange, yellow, and red in fall time, it's going into flowering, and those UVs or those rays of light rather are helping the flower production. To explain it simply,
Well,
you know.
yeah, that's why I think that new light that I got is going to be really good for autoflowers and flowering in general because it does have a lot more of the yellows on it. It
Yeah.
has the reds and blues too, and some whites, but it has a lot of yellows on it.
What kind of grow light do you have on that mimosa cake, Harry?
Oh, what is that thing called? Um,
Harry always
I,
forgets.
I honestly always forget it. I never remember what the equipment's called. It's some kind of it is an expensive grow light, but I did get it on sale,
You
and
did.
Hydro Gardens and Lights hooked me up as usual a little bit there.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
another shout out to Hydro Gardens and Lights, but it's a decent light, you know. Yeah, I think it's going to be good for flowering ultimately due to the yellows and the reds and blues in there.
Yeah, I gotta say the blue and white spectrum's really good for veg, and then the you got the orange and usually
Right.
red or yellow and
Yep,
red.
there's reds in there
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Which
and
I
I
hear
mean,
the far red spectrum is actually good for getting the plant to go to sleep quicker.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it accentuates or actuates as fall time, excuse me. And once it does that, you know, that plant's full releases all of its auxins into growth of those flowers ultimately, and it perceives that the season is over. So, and it's a very good range of light. You'll have a lot of good growth patterns with that coloration of light. But HPS, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna stir the, grow community here with this, but I gotta say, if I had the choice to choose and run a huge grow operation with HPS or, LED panels, I would highly go LED panels because overall it would be more efficient
AC
for my
Infinity
yeah,
LED panels. Let's be
yeah,
more specific there because
yeah,
I've
AC
looked at the
Infinity.
different
Yeah.
panels, and AC Infinity does have these nice magnifying glasses that are convex that spread that light out really good. And when you look at other lights, they don't have those magnifiers. And it's like,
And they're built like a brick shit house,
yeah,
I
I've
gotta
bumped
say.
my head on it many
Yeah,
times.
yeah, and they can take moisture and they look like they would be dainty and easy to damage, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend trying to, but other with just simple use, guys, that light will last you as until it burns out, which I doubt it'll do coming from AC Infinity.
Eventually,
Yeah, yeah.
they all wear down due to dust and build up and just wear
I would say
friction.
you'd get your $400 worth of use out of
Well,
it.
more,
Yeah, or more. Yeah,
definitely more.
yeah. So, I mean, I paid $400 for my SD44. How much was that light you just recently got
It
for the
was like
mimosa cake, Harry?
originally it was like a $200 light. It's on sale right now for like I think a buck 30,
Damn,
and then they knocked
damn.
a little bit off for me. So
How many watts was it?
I think that one's a little bit of a higher watt. I think it is like I have to look at the information because I didn't really.
Oh, shit.
I just I just set the thing up, man.
Oh, yeah. Understandable. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I know how far away it needed to be, and it was in that little tent. It was like there, so.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, either way, guys, it's definitely good enough to flower one plant, veg one plant. I would say I've seen it myself, and it seems pretty efficient and well made. I gotta say, anybody in the comments? I want to make sure I ain't missing nobody in the comments.
Nope.
All right, but
Trying to remember. It's like a.
can't remember the name. Can't remember. Oh, Harry, you smoke too much, man. It's all right. But I'll tell you the key to get stoned like Harry Cola does, and I do. Let me tell you the key here. So the key is to not become strand tolerant. So you got to have multiple strands, or you got to hit that thing like you mean it every time. And there's no way you can't get a buzz. And a vaporizer. Vaporizer gives you full terpenes,
They're
full
expensive,
cannabinoids. They are expensive.
and you don't really
They
want
are
the
expensive.
handheld ones. You really
No,
want the table volcano ones,
unfortunately,
and you
yes.
don't want the tube. You want the bags.
Yep, the bags will get you bagged.
Yeah, the bags are good, man. The tube, it doesn't hit with enough like um I don't get like enough vapor in one hit with the tube, but with the bag, it's like this nice consistent vapor hit. As long as you know it's you got a cloudy bag, it works really, really well. And the potency is like tenfold from your nugs than what it would have been if you just burnt them.
Now, what do you got planned for your next hair grow, Harry? Because I got
Well,
so many strands,
didn't
I
you
got to sit and
say
think about that.
you have clones coming from somebody?
Yes, we do have clones, or not clones, I'm sorry, auto flowers coming from another part of the canna family. They're giving us gorilla cheesecake. They got two or
I'm
three of
growing
them.
wedding cheesecake right now
Yeah,
too.
so Harry's growing wedding cheesecake. Now he gets to grow gorilla cheesecake.
So once I don't have a lot of space, I could probably, if I utilize my bathtub, which is kind of a pain to do, but that's what I've been forced to do, I could probably grow
Works.
right now a total of, it'd be tight, but I could keep a little plant in the little tent until it gets too big, right? I have one light for that, and then I have one additional white light I could set up in the tub to move things around, but the problem is the lights. I don't have enough lights in spaces to put plants, you know. So if I get that one, the wedding cheesecakes still have quite a bit of time before they're going to be done, you know. So and when they are done, I'll just kind
You're
of
gonna have a huge yield, man.
yeah, those plants are huge. They're getting big.
Yeah, yeah, I gotta say, dude, you're almost done with the mimosa cake. It's just now going into flower. I know my Northern Lights is just so slow. Like that thing's going to be, I'm going to be done with my second grow before fucking thing's done. I feel, dude.
Right.
Like, yeah, like, geez, man. But I mean, she's grown with CO2 and everything, all the amendments and little extras. So it's like. That is what it is, Got to wait for her, and you got to wait for the grape ape to flower. And it looks like they're not too far away, to be honest. Like they're on their second 322 feeding by Fox Farm. Anybody that's used Fox Farm religiously knows what I'm talking about. But it's simply just teaspoons of Big Bloom, 2 teaspoons of Grow Big, and 2 teaspoons of Tiger Bloom. And that's pretty much what you give it. So you're still mending it off nitrogen, as you can see, because that would be your or your grow big or big grow. I forgot specifically. It's one of those rearrangements of words. But me and Harry's been filming for a while, all day. But
Oh yeah,
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 yeah, all day, man. But we got like what, 3 episodes done?
yeah.
Yep, three
Good
episodes
point.
done. We got a podcast done. Well, not done, but currently going on. So,
In the middle of.
yeah, in the middle of currently. But yeah, I don't know really what I got planned for my next grow. I have nothing but a bunch of autos, man, and photos too.
Let me
So,
think. I have
and
tropical cookies and
tropical cookies.
I have a bunch of seeds you gave me. I still have to thumb through and
Yeah,
try to get to germinate. And then I have those fruity pebbles as well that are male and female. So if I germinate those ones, I gotta germinate all of them and try to see what I get.
those would be pure fire to get, Harry, dude. I gotta say, I would do the fruity pebbles. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys seen this cultivar, it's beautiful. It's by 42 Fast Buds, isn't it?
I don't think so. I think this is from a different company. I can't remember
Oh,
what.
it's from Hydro Gardens and Lights.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah, you can find that exclusively there. I forgot. I thought we got it from 42 Fast Buds. We get a
No.
lot of 42 Fast Buds from them.
Yeah, I did. We
Like,
did get a lot of 42 Fast Buds. I think I
yeah,
have a 42 Fast Buds Auto Flower Gorilla Cookies.
Gorilla Cookies
And
again.
so, well, eventually,
Oh,
it's coming back as an Auto Flower.
it's going to be a surprise, guys. Again, you're already seeing like several, Gorilla Cookies, and one day you're going to be going through your shorts. All of a sudden, Harry's going to pop that in
Hey,
as he's germinated
you're
Gorilla
just lucky
Cookies.
I didn't clone that clone again, or I'd still have Gorilla Cookies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He wanted to clone that essentially several times. I'm like, man, we need more than that strand on the show.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
just have Gorilla Cookies for two
yeah,
years.
yeah. I was like, you can't just have gorilla cookies for 2 years. And he's like, damn it, all right, basically.
I
And
gotta learn these Auto Flowers.
yeah, gotta learn these autoflowers now. And they are, a lot of people love autoflowers, a lot of people hate them, a lot of people think they're weak, a lot of people this, that.
Well,
We've done a video on it, why all that's kind of false, that
the
they're not weak.
misconception is just you're trying to feed your autoflower like you would your sativa or indica, and that's not how it eats. It's not how you do that one. You know, you can't do it.
Yeah,
Autoflowers, they require so much more food. They just require a lot more attention. They're more finicky, so if your environment's messed up and you're not fixing it, you're gonna end up with issues.
yeah, absolutely.
If
Okay,
your
make
pot
sure the
size
lights
isn't
on.
big enough, you're gonna end up with issues.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You guys always want to grow autos in a 5 gallon and more. Never grow autos in a 5 gallon less, because you'll even see with these solo cup grows. if you scroll through YouTube, I'm sure you'll see, or you've seen a bunch of them, there's a lot of deficiencies going on. And that's because that plant isn't able to uptake the amount of nutrients that it needs for that stage of life because of that small grow medium.
And
That's why your roots kind of stretch out.
it's like the
It grabs
difference.
nutrients from,
It's like the difference between
everywhere.
having a normal sized stomach and a tiny, tiny stomach. If you have a tiny, tiny stomach, you can only eat a little bit of food and then you're going to be full. But that means you can only absorb a little bit of nutrients. So that's the problem with the solo cup.
Yeah, yeah.
We got Southwest Homegrown in the comments. I have harvested my gorilla cookies and dried it in a herb dry now dryer. Or an herb now dryer.
Hey, I want to.
It's not done yet, but I tried a joint and it's fire. Tastes like lavender with diesel with a hint of fruity aftertaste. Yeah, it's a really good cultivar.
What was that?
That's a Southwest Homegrown.
Shout out to you, Southwest Homegrown. What's up, man? I always see in the comments. Much love to you. But I got a question, man. I was thinking about getting the herbs now dryer. How does that thing work? Does it work quite well? I take it from what you said in the comments, it works quite well. But I wanted to make sure the investment was worth it because it is like a 200 to 200 plus dollar machine.
Yeah.
So definitely let me know, Southwest Grows, man. What do you think of that machine, as far as curing your bud? Is there anything to look out for? Because I understand there is a
Yeah, you'll have to
rehydration.
review it if we get it.
Yeah, I'd like to because I really like this thing. It's the Herbs Now dryer. In case you guys haven't heard, it's like a dehumidifier for your cannabis. So you know how you'd put fruit in a dehumidifier? Well, you can't do that with those with cannabis because the temperature is too high and it degrades your terpenes and your trichomes and will ultimately just make it smell like burnt hay and dry it out real quick. But this, the Herbs Now dryer, it's about 200 bucks, but it comes with a humidity chamber if needed, if you over dry and forget, like if you don't hear the alarm that goes off and indicates. But I haven't personally used one. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews. Now, Southwest Grows just said in the comments that, he had quite a great terpene profile, it sounds like, by the use of the machine. So now that really intrigued me. I got to say, I would like to definitely buy one myself. It's definitely been on my list, but like I said, I've seen a lot of reviews, and that's why I haven't did a video on it on the channel. That's why I haven't really brought it up because I don't know. But now we got somebody that's, so that's good for it, man, so far, I gotta say. And I've seen a lot of good reviews too on it, actually. So it's like the reviews say it's good. Homegrown, Southwest Homegrown says it's fire.
He says it was not done yet,
Yeah.
but he tried a joint. It tastes fire. So, and I assume that's good.
Yeah, yeah, I'll confirm that it's a gas machine, I gotta say. Now, it takes a lot of work out of your dry, man. You just literally cut down your buds, stick it in these designated chambers in this dehumidifier, and it's set at a certain temperature. You can't set it high or low, that way you can't mess up your bud. So it's an easy process. And basically, to my understanding, it'll make a noise signal that it's done. It'll obviously sound like a fan when it's running, and there's a lot of cool things. It
Well,
even it makes your whole house smell like skunk, but it comes with a carbon filter
he's
cover too. So if you're worried about that,
he's
you can
given
buy
it some
that.
raving reviews here. He said that I was skeptical at first, but I got it, but honestly, it dried my stuff so good and it smells and tastes exactly the way it did when was first put in the dryer. It was pretty amazing. Honestly, believe it. I wouldn't give it the full 4 days to dry though. I would give it the 3 days to dry until you see the stem snap, and then would put it in some Grove bags or something like that.
Okay.
I'd probably use jars.
Grove bags. Okay, yeah, Grove bags are really nice. So,
Those are like Grove
okay,
bags.
okay, yeah, yeah, I've heard a lot about the Grove bags. Okay, so Southwest Grove says basically, don't let it dry for 4 days,
Do
but
the three
to do the
days
3 days
and then cure it.
and, cure it and put it. Okay, I can see that. I mean, you could also, it sounds like you could directly put it into jar from there. I mean,
Well,
wouldn't it
that's
be?
at that bag is
Yeah,
the same thing as
yeah,
curing,
that's true.
curing.
I use jars, man. I love jars. I do. I've never used Grove bags. I've heard a lot of good things about them, so I'm not knocking them by far, guys. But I'm just skeptical. Because of moisture. It just, I understand how the bag works. I'm just skeptical, guys. That's all. I've never used the Grove bags, but
Well,
I have seen a lot of
once you've
bigger
cured,
channels, use them and they've worked quite well. And I'm just like,
well,
well,
once you cured in jars for so many years, and you kind of have your technique with it, it's kind of hard to believe you can just throw your buds in this bag and it's gonna be okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you've probably heard people say, they've cut their weed down and put it in like paper bags and stuff to kind of dry it out, and it's just like, nah, that's a nightmare, man. Don't do that.
He
Yeah,
says you
but
can put it directly into jars, but I would use Bovita packs just
yeah.
to make sure you get back any moisture that might have been lost during the cure. You could put it directly into jars, but I would use Bovita packs just to make sure you get back any moisture that might be left in the jar. Oh, you must have accidentally sent it twice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So yeah, we use Bovita packs too, or we usually use hydrometers, which will tell us what the temperature is inside the jar and the humidity. And these are cheap, and you can find them at Amazon, like 12 of them. I'm sorry, for a little under, I think 13, $14 can of family. And got 12 of them. They all work. They all came with batteries too, which is really cool. Of course, the batteries are separate in the box. So if you do get them, know that don't throw your box away because they're taped to the inside. All these watch batteries, and they're expensive too to replace a bunch of them. Like those batteries are like 11, $12 for two of them, and they give you like, I don't even know how many of them, 15, 20 of them. But hydrometers are a great way. Bavita packs too. They have Bavita packs that add moisture. They have Bavita packs that retain the moisture and keep your cure at a certain, moisturization basically. So that way your weed ain't too dry and harsh. I was skeptical about this herbs dry now machine, but I'm going to say you probably guys will see it on the channel soon. Probably next couple crops that come by, we will definitely go and pick one up, and the Grove bags too, because honestly, I've been so interested in those because to me, I've always grown dried out on a dry rack or in my tent where I can control it. And then, I put it into mason jars simply. Some of the mason jars I had were black, which were UV protected, which were my favorite ones. And then I have some clear ones too. I have all sizes of mason jars, but that's usually how I'm used to curing. And then you burp those ever so long. But it would be nice to take them out of that machine, put them in a bag, and just that bag really, brings that out, and you don't have to burp these bags in these jars. Because I would say maybe burping jars may be a slight of an old school method at this
Yeah,
point, but at the same time, it's damn,
it's tried and true.
yeah, it's like once you get it down, it's like, man. So I really want to try these Grove bags. I'm all up for it. I am not a closed-minded individual when people mention things. And I mean, he confirmed with the dry herb thing too. So I gotta say 100%.
It would be
We were,
awesome to get
yeah,
it and do a
yeah.
review on it.
Yeah, so I'd say you'll see that in the future. You'll also see a review on Grove bags and how they work, and we'll do it. We'll do an herbs dry now, we'll do a jar cure, and we'll do a Grove bag cure, and we'll let you guys know what all comes. We'll review it all, which it'll be age restricted, so just look for it. Be like, did they upload? Because chances are we upload 3, 4 times a week, so it'll definitely be there, and then you guys can see it for yourself, man. Because I'm curious too, and that'll help with the debate. We can use the herbs dry now device, we can use the mason jars, and we can use the growth bags. Boom, 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 and then we can do a review.
Well, he was saying that you
That'd be good
use,
too.
it was seeming like he was saying you use the grow bags in conjunction with
Yeah, yeah,
dry
yeah,
herb.
yeah. That's what he was saying. But I'm just curious if you cured it just only using jars, only using a grow bag, and only using the herbs dry now, which you can do as well.
Okay.
Which one will be better? So we'll have a nug by the dry herbs. We'll have a nug by the grow bags. We'll have a nug on top the mason jar. That'll represent each one. We'll do, flavor. So I'm kind of
Right.
interested. Yeah, and
Now,
I mean, you can pick up grove bags at Hydro Gardens and Lights too, so that won't be hard for us to go get at
now,
all.
will
With
do
what?
you think vaporizing it would kind of make the buds consistent, or would we have to burn them to actually get the true?
Vaporizing,
You,
yeah,
you,
because you're going to, why? Because you get the best terpene profile, you're going to get the best taste out of that bud, you're going to get the best effects and overall cannabinoids because you only get 13% of your cannabis when you burn it. So if you ever wonder, guys, why you're not getting high from your weed anymore, that's one of the reasons. You got to get a vaporizer. I'm not just pushing this, I'm not sponsored. I'm just saying, like, from one stoner to another, vaporizers are excellent. You get overall effects, cannabinoids profiles, you get your full effects. And it's like you can't develop a strain tolerance with these things. It's like because you're getting such full of spectrum all the time, from terpenes to cannabinoids to flavors, and it's hitting you consistently. You still feel it. And that cannabis is in your bloodstream in 7 seconds upon inhalation through vaping it. So you're getting higher, faster, and it's just an ultimate great smoker's experience. If you've been smoking for a while and haven't vaped cannabis, I highly recommend it. Highly
Tim
recommend it.
Serber.
Yes, Tim Serber,
It
what's up,
says
man?
the soap is finally my daytime smoke. I've been searching for 2 years. I suffer from TBI 5 years ago. I found out it's a favorite in the medical distribution. Thanks, Canna Family.
Yeah, shout out to you, Tim Serber. He's the one we did the video for, the
Okay.
indica and sativa, because he did have a medical issue and he needed to know what kind of cannabis to get. And he finally got it, which was so out of all. And the funny thing is, the crazy thing, Tim, before you jumped in, man, we just talked about that.
Yeah.
Literally. And it's such an interesting strand. If you guys never smoked, it's called soap or zope.
Zope.
Zope, ZOAP. It's an, I believe, an indica dominant hybrid.
Yep.
Yep, and it tastes like a floral, soapy, flowery. Oh God,
Like soap from a hotel.
yeah,
With some
and
bubbles.
and it sounds like it would be nasty, but no, it's really good. It's really strong, it's really potent, and it's crossed with a lot of other good strands. That's how there's a strand called Valley Girl, and Valley Girl tastes like you smoked like a field of flowers, literally. It is such a floral taste,
You know
but
that one, the Big Banana Auto.
Big Banana Auto,
That one was really
yeah,
potent too,
yeah,
strong. It's an
yeah.
indica as well.
Yeah, Big Banana Automatic from Royal Queen Seeds was fire. It's called Big Banana Automatic, and their seeds are like, I think it's like $17 for five
It
or
it
10
was
of
high
them.
potency too,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah.
47 percentile.
Yeah, it was in the 30, it was 31 or 32, I think, I gotta
So
say.
pretty high up there.
Yeah, it's in
Potency.
28 to 30 percentile, and you can get it high, but those banana strands are good for that. Like, banana strands are terrific, guys. I don't know if you guys tried any of the banana strains. Let me know down in the comments section if you have.
It
What's up in the comments, Harry?
it says not to be confused. It was so. Oh, okay.
Soap,
Soap
yeah,
and
and
Zope
soap
are
are
two
two
different
different strands.
strands.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
why I asked. Yeah, was it soap or zope?
It's soap.
Okay, soap is that one. Zope is the same because soap and zope, I think they have, I don't know if they're like they have like breeding. So like is soap and zope?
Maybe. 19% THC.
Yeah, 19%. Yeah, yeah. I'd say that's, yeah. 'Cause it was strong, dude. Me and him smoked a lot of soap.
Well,
Or
we
Zope.
had
It's
Zope.
Zope.
We had
Sorry.
Zope.
Yeah, Zope. It was Zope. So I apologize. But that is an interesting strand. And sometimes, like, you have those. You have your blue cheeses or your grandma's breath
Woody
or
cheese.
donking breath or what is it?
Woody cheese.
Woody cheese. That's, ugh, man.
Potato
Yeah, the
runs.
damn potato runs, guys. If you haven't ever smoked it and you want something that just tastes weird as hell, get that. Get some potato runs because
Some
it tastes like
potato
a dirty
runs.
potato, dude. And when you smoke a blunt of it, it's worse It's like, you got two, three, four. I mean, usually I did 4 to 6 grams in a raw, but I'd put 4 to 6 grams in a raw and take it to the face, and it just tastes like smoking a bag of dirty potatoes. It was freaking horrible.
I
Harry
liked
loved,
it. I
yeah.
liked it. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, Harry'd be coming over smoking, and he'd be like, "I got some dirty
You
potatoes,
want to hit
man."
this dirty
Yeah,
potato?
I'm like, "No, man, I'll hit my cart."
I wouldn't even tell you. I'd be like, "Here, man, here's a bowl."
Yeah,
You'd hit it like, "Oh, is this the potato runs?
yeah, dude.
Why are you smoking that?"
Yeah, I'd be like, "Why are you smoking that, Harry?" He's like, "I like it, man." I'm like, "All right, man. Everybody likes different. I'm not, knocking nobody, man."
Tim says
Mm,
he says, "Thanks, I love
mm,
soap.
yeah,
Got a quarter pound."
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. That's nice,
That'll
Tim.
last a little while.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. 4 ounces, man. That's a lot of soap.
Depending on how you smoke. I mean, some
Yeah,
people might smoke an eighth a day.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. I used to smoke a ungodly amount of flour.
Ounce a day.
Yeah, yeah, rolled up into 16, 17 blunts, yeah. But I had to switch to like organics because smoking that many blunts made my voice sound
Starting to sound like Alex Jones.
no, like the Godfather, bro.
Oh,
Like
like the Godfather.
yeah, yeah, dude. Like your voice
Uh,
just sounds like you smoked cigars for like 5 years.
shoot.
Like,
Is it deep? I guess I didn't watch that series. I watched it, but I don't remember it because it's old, man. It's old. That's a long time
I
ago.
mean, yeah, it's still on TV, man. I mean, the Godfather.
Like cigarettes,
Yeah,
Tim says.
yeah, yeah. And I ain't gonna lie, that's why. I mean, I have a deep voice to begin with, but I've smoked a lot of cigars and a lot of cigarettes and a lot of blunts and joints, and that's why my voice sounds the way it does. Like, I have a deep ass monotone voice. I feel like the guy from what's that dude from the eye drop commercial? I forgot his name. He's like clear eyes.
Clear eyes,
Wow.
yeah.
And he's like boring as Ben Stein.
Ben sign.
Yeah, Ben Stein.
Southwest Homegrow says
Yeah,
I was going to do the banana punch auto from 42 Fast Buds, but went with sour jealousy. It's on week 2 of flower. One is done. Once it's done, I'm going to pop
nice.
those Motor Breath X '06 OGs that I can't find anything on. Tim says I smoke 24/7.
Hey, I do too, Tim. I smoke, and that's awesome, man. Like the jealousy strand, I had a cart.
Sour jealousy.
Yeah, it's sour, so it's like sour diesel or one of the sour strands.
It's been crossed in with
Yeah, and jealousy's one. Now that's a strand all alone I want to grow. It's just jealousy. That strand's nice. And I seen a 2 gram cart. Who the hell was it? Mac Oils. We did a video on them, man. I
yeah,
remember
yeah,
now.
yep,
Hell yeah.
man.
It was Mac Oils, bro. And or Canna Family. And but freaking what was it?
Jealousy.
Yeah, jealousy. It had such a unique profile to it. It had a really like just good unique flavor profile that I've never tasted. It was almost, if I had to compare it to anything, guys, any strand, it would be like Death Star. And you know how cologne and musky and Old Spice cologne tasting, like that Old Spice that comes in that old white bottle. I mean, I'm not that old. Like these things were way out before I was, man. Like these things are old and they stunk like ass, dude. Like they were so strong. Like it would like knock a skunk over, dude. That's how strong this musky cologne was. But that's what kind of Death Star tastes. I love Death Star. So I mean that's like the best type of comparison I can compare jealousy to, and it is a fire strand, guys. If you guys never grown that, try jealousy. And then there's cross strands like sour jealousy that Southwest Homegrowns mentioned. Um,
Yeah, Southwest Homegrow says the Motorboat
yeah,
X6
that
OG is a Jungle Boys genetics.
Oh, that's
He's
fine.
excited to get that grow started.
Yeah, man. Okay. Now I understand Southwest genetics. You mentioned it's a jungle boy seed. Some of these people like breed these for years and they come up with their own recipes of cross-pollinate or crossbreeding basically with their own in-house genetics and other genetics, and they don't want their recipe being copied. So that's why there's no information on it. And sometimes when you get it, it's like that. But just know if it's from Jungle Boys, it's absolutely fire.
Right.
I mean, dude, Jungle Boys kill it. And then there's Mendo Dope Boys. They do fire too. They came up with Mendo Purple.
Window
Yeah,
breath.
yeah, Mendo Breath and all those other Mendo Purple indica strands. And so, I mean, but Jungle Boys, they make some frosty gas. If you guys are looking for like grows to with a lot of trichome production, I would highly recommend Soulfire Genetics and Jungle Boys because you're going to get a lot of trichome production out of those strands, especially anything that the Jungle Boys carry. They do absolutely great. Like all their plants are just beautiful, I gotta say. So they were definitely I watched them years ago, like when they first were starting some of their genetics, and they do
Southwest
fire.
Homegrown says, I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I mean they do, man. They do fire like genetics. That's the best way to put it. Every like plant just looks like it has a light layer of winter frost amongst the flowers. Like it's just beautiful in coloration. There's barely any leaves that are having any issue. You know how, plants flower and they discolor? Theirs don't. And if it does, it gets different colored. Like, so it just looks beautiful. Like, I gotta say, they do a gas job at growing
They've been
gas.
around for a long time.
Yeah, probably, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, they were some of the people that inspired me when I first seen them on YouTube, to be honest. Like the Jungle
He
Boys.
says they were expensive.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. That's one thing I forgot
it's
to
that
mention.
phenotype.
Yeah, those are 30, 40, 50, 60, $120 for five of them seeds. They are, but dude, they're guaranteed to pop their phenotypes like F1 through 5, and they're gas. Gas. Like that's weed that's going to make you'll need a helmet after you're done smoking it. No offense to nobody, but I mean, it's going to, make your brain not work, man.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, it's that 30 percentile and 28 percentile.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to grow. Indica or the grape ape indica can go anywhere from 28 up.
Right.
So that's where I'm
Yeah.
shooting at.
I'm excited to see that bud flower out and get those terps up.
I gotta say, yeah,
It's already smelling like grape and wine back there.
yeah, yeah. It's smelling like candy grapes and wine. And why the reason it smells like wine because the yeast, but the grapes you can definitely get hit in the face with, and it's like a candy grape. If you guys ever smelled like grape bubble tape, that's grape
Like the
bubble.
Hubba Bubba.
Yep, hubba bubba, grape bubble tape. And yeah, that smells just like that. It's really nice. Grape ape has this just really nice smell to it. It's like almost an incense type of smell, like a really just head shop, water beds and stuff, cloud nine type of weed shop, groovy glass pipe shop, whatever you guys have around you. I don't know. Everybody lives in different states, and it has a great profile, like a grape profile to it. And you can really taste the grape in it. The caraphyllene really comes out. It's really dark purple and it goes into hues of lavender. It has really thick orange hairs. They're really small condensed buds. So when your plants do flower, no matter what you feed them, they will get bigger, but they will always stay small, tight, and condensed because genetically that's just how that plant grows. So you're not going to see a lot of bud stacking like you would with northern lights or with if you would with like an amnesia haze or super silver haze or something like that. You're not going to see that type of stack in color or cola be structured. So ultimately, I mean, you're going to have really nice compact grape tasting buds that have a great terpene, great potency to them. Excuse me, guys. What's in the chat, man? I see you typing over there.
So Southwest Homegrown says, time to take a dab. Cheers. I
Cheers.
am.
Cheers, Canna Family. Southwest grows out there. Much love. And cheers.
Okay, so Tim Suber says,
Serber.
Head server, do
Yep.
you all talk about business? I get my bulk off JK and my concentrates off golden hour hemp. Your experience thoughts, thanks.
What was the question?
What's
Again,
the
I'm sorry. I was coughing. I couldn't.
He says he gets his bulk off JK and
JK.
his concentrates off golden hour hemp. Your experienced thoughts.
And JK and Golden Flower Hemp. Um, honestly, I personally haven't tried those brands, but
Yeah, I haven't
um,
tried those ones.
however, my personal experience as far as concentrates, so I think that's what he's asking more so where to get flour or concentrates or what would be the, you know, um, I would go for Barney's Genetics, Huckleberry Farm, um, any strands grown by them. So if you just look up like Huckleberry Farm or Barney's Farm, I think that sounds like to me is kind of the strands you're looking for, more indica primary.
Mephisto?
Yeah,
Mephisto, would they
yeah,
have
Mephisto,
good Mephisto?
Mephisto Genetics.
Kirby's would have some good ones
Yeah,
too.
Herbie's would have some good ones too, I gotta say. But for what he's looking for is like pain management type of. So you're looking more of the Huckleberry Farm in any strand, like Blackberry Indica would be a good one, you know.
Caviar.
But we're not talking about strands, just companies. Another good companies, let's say, I recommend Muhammad's for concentrates too. If you want to check out their line, Muhammad's is really good. I wouldn't go with well, I can't, I wouldn't go with, I can't remember what company, but a company I would go, Colorado Concentrates. Which one did we,
Yeah,
well,
yeah, it was Summit concentrates.
Summit Concentrates is another good one for the concentrates. Summit Concentrates are really good. They provide like really good clean concentrates that are organic. Another flower company is like Lumpy's Farm, Barney's Farm, Jungle Boys does flower too with different strands that you would like, and they're all very potent. And a lot of them are indica, like Mendo Boys. The Mendo boys, they grow different indica strands as well. That would be great for that, I would say. But the concentrates, overall, the concentrate companies I like is Favorites. So definitely check out Favorites. Definitely check out Muhammad's. Mac Oils does good, but I think they only cover carts and vapes. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if they do concentrates necessarily. Let me see. There was favorites and there was what else are those other ones? There was the favorites and there was
Think.
I can't remember Harry. While Harry's thinking, there's a lot of other different companies. Just I would search for anything from Barney's Farm and what they produce, Huckleberry Farm, Jungle Boys, those type of cultivars, and that's where you're probably going to find your best concentrates because you
Yeah,
can
I
ultimately
think
see those strands, know what strands you want, whether you're looking for a hybrid indica or sativa and see if they have that type of concentrate because ultimately a lot of dispensaries will team up with like cookies and jungle boys and this and that muhammad's cookies all these really big name brands and they'll carry their stuff and products ultimately so I would look for reputable breeders and
Tim
look at
Subaru says, no, I need energy. The brain
oh
doctor always told me I would feel like I'm 85, so I have sativa. Thanks.
oh sativa okay
It's more of the green crack, the
yeah
Red Bull,
uh,
the
uh,
Hulk,
Amnesia Haze,
Amnesia
Super Silver
haze.
Haze,
Which I don't
you
like the
know.
hazes. The hazes always kind of make my they give me like a brain fog.
But okay, so energizing, Tim, would definitely be okay. So good ones for that again would definitely be Muhammad's. Uh, let's see. Muhammad's does some good sativas. I know that. I know Favorites does some good sativas. I
Yeah,
know
favorite
Summit
starts with
Concentrates does some good actual sativas too, and they're based out of Colorado. A lot of dispensaries have them. I know Muhammad's does concentrates and they're pure fire, and they have a lot of good sativas and OG ones, Tim, like Strawberry Cough. They have ones like Sour Diesel, Mai Tai. Um, uh, her
Southwest Homegrown says Sour Jealousy is a good sativa dominant.
There we go. Sour Jealousy is another one that you're going to find, and again, like Jungle Boys, because that's grown by no, the other one he
I
had
think
was grown by
I
Jungle
think
Boys,
the
but
wedding cheesecake sativa dominant and the mimosa cakes
yeah,
both sativa dominant.
Mimosa Cake's another good one. AK-47's a good one. That's another good strand. I would look for flower, and they typically have these, and but companies. Man, there's very few companies I go through because it's just, I don't know. They work and they're good, and I sometimes venture off, but most times stick with companies that, I know a lot about. And that's Sativa, with the Sativa, that's Muhammad's, I gotta say, because they have like the biggest line of different concentrates I've even seen, like in disposables, vapes, and
They do have
I
a
mean, yeah,
pretty big line.
devices. And if you haven't tried, disposables or vapes, I highly recommend that to them because that can be more immediate than, maybe, using a bong or a bowl all the time. So,
Yeah, vaping it does seem to have a
it's a good
quicker,
delivery system.
stronger effect.
Yeah, yeah, essentially. Sorry, man.
I've
There
always
we go.
enjoyed the vapes myself.
Yeah, I gotta say, I did too myself. They were always quite good. They're good at application as far as, use for medical. And look into getting yourself, Tim, sometime a Stores and Bickle desktop vape, or at least a vape, like a handheld vape. Those are all really nice, and they're good medical devices, I gotta say,
Tim says
or recreational.
he has to order online, Indiana.
Online in Indiana.
Hmm.
Online in Indiana. Now in Indiana, actually visited Indiana when I was a kid quite a few times. But that was way before weed was legal. But jumping back to that, um, let's see. I would say see what companies they have, honestly. I would see what companies, and like if they have Muhammad's, Jungle Boys, Huckleberry's Farm, Barney's Farm. Um, these are all tried and true like medicine companies, that actually sell. I mean, all cannabis is medicine, but these are, companies that specialize in strong, cannabis for that
Right, if you're
specifically.
smoking every day and you have a really high tolerance, you're gonna need something that's a little bit more potent than your average cannabis.
And they have potent energizing sativas too. So mm.
Southwest Homegrown says Herrera is one of my favorite sativas. You and many others, I have seen that cultivar go around so many times.
Yeah, I gotta say, people love Jack Herrera.
Jack Skellington, I've had that
Yeah,
before
yeah,
too.
Jack Skellington. I've had Jack Herrera, and we've had Mountain Dew before too, and that's a sativa. So if you like the taste of Mountain Dew, there's a Mountain Dew string.
The Tim says the post office lady delivered my quarter pound.
That's funny. That's cool as hell, though. I mean, welcome to 2025. It is legal in most states, and all you have to do is purchase it, and then, you get it through the mail. Like I got all my seeds through the mail, and some I got from Hydro Gardens and Lights. So,
Yeah, going
I
to a
mean,
store and being able to buy seeds is pretty cool.
yeah, I gotta say, looking at different cultivars, I love seed shopping, but guys, let me tell you, there's a thing to that. You gotta watch because you'll be like, oh, you'll want the new gaseous strand or the new this and the new that. You'll see all this, and this will become like eye candy. And what you'll do is and a lot of people do this, they'll get their setup and then they'll be like, well, I'll just go buy 3, 4 packs or maybe a couple packs for this run. And then they'll come home with like 15 packs. And then you get more because you see this company came out with this, and you're like, oh, I love that strand, and it comes in this, and you get that, and then you get this, and then eventually you have like 3 years worth of seeds. Like right now, we got probably 2 years worth of seeds between us. Like it's going to take some time. We can only do how many crops a year? I think
I
it's
can
like
only grow so
4 or 5
many plants.
crops a year, and that's not because of the law. That's just because of space. I use one tent personally, and it's a 5 by 5 tent. It's 6'8". It's AC Infinity Cloud Lab series, and Harry uses a smaller AC Infinity that's Cloud Lab series as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going. My
Uh,
bad. I thought you were going over there like, hey, somebody said in the comments. But yeah, strong sativas, I would definitely look up Muhammad because to me, they've had like the best ones, essentially. But
Southwestern Home Grown says, I want the Humboldt Jelly Donut seeds.
yeah, yeah, and anything by Humboldt Seeds. I forgot. I can't believe I forgot to mention Humboldt County Seeds.
Humboldt's good
Yeah,
too.
Humboldt's amazing, and they have Cali Octane, which is a gas cultivar. If you guys haven't seen the Cali Octane, but Humboldt Seeds and Humboldt Secret Nutrients as well, their system is just top tier. I got to say, anything out of Humboldt County because they're originally out of the Green Triangle, which means everybody up there in the mountains of Humboldt County's been growing cannabis for years and it runs through their genetics. So you'll see a lot of good genetics come out of there. So best believe if you have something legitly like nutrients from Humboldt, like Humboldt Secret or Humboldt, seeds, they're fire, man. I mean, especially the Cali Octane, and that's a strain I highly recommend, 10 server. Look up Cali Octane, see if you have that in your area. It's a very strong flowered sativa. I mean, and it's made from HumboldtSeeds.com. So, you know, I love growing, I gotta say. It's become a great, and it's created such a great community, man. And you're learning so much and it's cool, man. And people are getting to see through your grow journey. They're getting to see through ours, each strand we grow. And I
Right.
definitely, to Southwest Grows, man, I definitely want to grow jelly donuts, man. I got 3 autos of jelly donuts, and I'm like, I'll grow that because that's a really frosty strand, man. It's
Yeah.
not a cross, but it is really frosty. I do have some crosses in there and some crazy autos, dude. Strands I've never even heard of mixed together, dude. Both sativa hybrid and indica. So, yeah, you guys will just have to see what comes out the tent of 2 buds in a jar. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, Harry Cola will eventually have fruity pebbles here soon.
Eventually, I'll see. It's
Now, one thing that blew my mind, I looked at the channel and we are at 2,600 subscribers, Harry.
wild.
It's crazy, dude. I never even thought when we started this channel we would get up so high, honestly. It blows my mind, man. Truly blows my mind. And we got you guys to think out there. Everybody that watches the streams, everybody that likes and comments on the video, we definitely thank you guys very much for that again. Because we wouldn't exist out here on YouTube without you guys watching us, watching our age restricted videos and our unage restricted content that you get notifications of. And that is a question. Anybody in the comments section or anybody watching, do you guys get notifications when we upload? Because we're kind of curious and we just wanted to see. And that goes even when the stream goes off later on and it's uploaded. If you guys make it this far through the video, let me know in the comments section of maybe this video. I think if you can, or other videos like, yeah, I don't get notifications or I do. Because we want to see if our notifications are going out. Because I have another email and I subscribe to the channel and I don't even get notifications. So that led me to think, why don't I get notifications? If it's 2 different emails, and all I'm seeing is if I get notifications from the channel. And that's the only way I could think to doing it. But having you viewers would help, yeah. And that would help us know if YouTube's pushing our content or if, because we think we're shadow banned. I don't know. Some of our videos, it doesn't make sense. Like if you look at the numbers, they just don't math. The math ain't math, and I think it's because of YouTube. So we want to figure it out here at 2 buds in a jar and get down to the bottom of it. So let us know down in the comment section. Even of a random short, we'll know what you're talking about. Be like, no, I don't get notifications, or yes, I do. And definitely let us know. Because
Right.
yeah, we would want to make sure our content's getting out to you guys and stuff. And YouTube loves you to take your age restricted content and put it behind a paywall, but we're not going to do that. We'll leave it up on the channel, at least for now, until we're going to try to get monetized to make this YouTube channel work. Even if we don't, we're still going to keep it up because that's what we do. We spread the knowledge and love of the cannabis plant with everybody, you know?
Right.
I gotta say, YouTube won't silence us, and it don't matter with monetization or not. We'll keep two buds in a jar, keep on keeping on. You guys got the sitcoms to look forward to, all the shorts that we do 7 days a week. And right now, all of our plants are into flowering, so you're getting to see on one channel four different strands: the mimosa cake, the wedding cheesecake, the northern lights, and the grape ape. You get to see them all simultaneously flower, so you know what they look like, even if you want to purchase them for later.
which
And then I can
I
say they're fire cultivars.
which I'm still learning with the autoflower, so there's a little learning curve there, but I think I'm getting closer with each grow.
I think Harry is too, and it's cool to see, because I went at this channel with years of knowledge, both research and hands-on, years of my life, and then he went into it kind of getting knowing the knowledge, but learning so much more throughout the channel's growth, and you get to see him and his experiments that he does, so it's really kind of interesting. And you get two different ways of growing. Some things we do, me and him do, are the same. A lot of things are different. You'll see he does different things and I do different things with my grow. That way we can bring you a wide range of content to watch and things going on within the channel and the two buds in a jar world, which there's sometimes more going on than just THC clouds, I gotta say, in the studio.
Okay, Southwest Homegrow says, I do. I just work a lot, so I watch when I get home or in the break room at lunch.
Hey, shout out to you, Southwest Grow. We much appreciate Homegrown. I'm sorry, Southwest
Southwest Homegrown.
Homegrown. Shout out to you, man. We greatly appreciate it, dude. It definitely helps the channel and it definitely lets YouTube know that you, as a viewer, enjoy this content as well, man. So it's people like yourself, man, that really help generate the channel, I gotta say, because without you guys, no YouTuber would exist if you think about it.
Yeah.
Without people hitting that like and subscribe and notification bell, and it goes from there from YouTube, realizing people like your content
Well,
and
a lot of people who
pushing
aren't
it.
on YouTube who just casually watch it, they have no idea how the back end works. And even as a YouTuber, sometimes trying to understand how the back end of it all works can really quite a headache.
Yeah, yeah, it
But
is so hard to figure out the algorithm, dude.
well,
We're
I'm
not
not
even.
even talking
Yeah,
about just the algorithm. I'm talking about, how they rate the users on the back end. And you don't know it, but on the back end, it's like a video game, and they have a rating for every user on YouTube who puts out content.
yeah,
And if you don't have that gold star rating,
yeah. And what it was, and let me tell you guys why this is true. And no other cannabis, this is actually like a cannabis channel secret. So in the beginning, YouTube will try to silence you, shut you down. You'll look and you'll get discouraged after 6 months of hard work and uploads congruently and sacrificing things in real life to do this. And they will just knock you under the rug because your views are minuscule and it'll make you think, as a content creator, people don't care. Well, the truth is, people do care. A lot of people do care. It's just YouTube is not pressing your content out. After a while, me and Harry Cola banged our noggins together, and being the Scorpios that we are, we figured it out. And once our numbers went up, they now allowed our cannabis plants to be shown in the shorts in the mainstream. They now allowed some of our videos to be out. And once the numbers kept going up, YouTube kept being like, okay, buddy, you guys are doing good now. And once your numbers go down, they're like, no, again. And that's how it works. The YouTube just cares about your numbers. I'm not saying everyone on YouTube or everyone that uses YouTube. I'm saying YouTube as a company as a whole just cares about your numbers. If your numbers ain't going up and you're already making content that they don't agree with, boom, right back down you go. And you'll see your numbers start to drop and you'll see your subscribers and you'll add them two up and you're like, wait a minute. Two plus two ain't equaling four here. It's actually equaling two somehow.
yeah.
How is this possible? Because two plus two equals four.
Well,
So
they're using quantum math.
yeah, they're using something algebra two with long division mixed with multiplication.
They're like green
Well,
plant
actually,
plus
they're
this many
using stuff.
subscribers
Yeah,
equals fish.
yeah. So that is a little secret. So if you are a cannabis YouTuber or you plan to become a YouTuber, period, even if it's more accepted content, you're going to have to put in a lot of time, a lot of effort. I've handwritten over 100 scripts now. And you're probably like, why don't you use a computer? Because I want it to sound organic. I want it to be me. It's just my thoughts better put out for you guys to digest. Because sometimes when I go get high and go on these rants, you'll see it 100 times in videos. They're not really rants, but I get off topic. So a lot of times you guys will see that, but it's really hard to be a cannabis YouTuber and you got to completely upload all the time. And we would do that regardless. We're not complaining about it, but it does require a lot more work because they're trying to minimize you. And you're trying to create so much content to at least generate some views so YouTube don't knock you down completely. So you're constantly battling this number stress between views and subscribers. And as long as things are going up, okay, cool. And then YouTube's like, okay, you're all right. But once your numbers start going down drastically, again, YouTube knocks you down. And it's not that people don't care. So if you're a content creator and this has happened to you, don't get discouraged, man. Keep doing you. Keep doing whatever makes you happy, whatever makes your viewers happy. But that's what they do to a lot of content creators and especially small ones.
Tim Suber says, I was in the other room and YouTube was playing on my iPad. Your video started playing and I checked to see if you were live. It was.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Tim Server. So that lets us know at least, okay. So people do see our stuff. I'm just making sure YouTube's getting, some of it out there to some people. So we'll wait and get some more feedback on that and see if that's the case. Because I'm wondering about that. I often wonder if they do push our stuff because we do upload. And what happens, guys, I'll tell you, and this way you guys will
Your,
understand it.
your everyday age restrictions?
Yeah. He will upload two shorts on the mimosa cake and the wedding cake. I will upload one short because all my stuff's together, the Northern Lights and the Great Babe. It will get age restricted. I'll go and appeal it. It'll take them all day from 8 a.m. till 12 o'clock midnight. And that's when my phone will vibrate saying appealed granted. It shows that it's not harmful. And it's like, yeah, growing a plant ain't harmful to no one, man. It's legal here where I live. So, and where everybody else lives. That's why we're all together on this channel talking about it freely. We're not gorilla growing in the woods of the jungle somewhere,
Tim Suber
so
says Rumble question mark. We've
yeah,
thought about it.
right. Yeah, yeah, Tim Server. We thought about it, and we've wanted to do both Rumble and YouTube, to be honest with you. And we're going to look into it for those of you wondering. And we do have a profile set up. Don't go to it or do anything yet because we got to fully understand the contract, and we haven't completely went over it. Every Monday, me and Harry just go balls to the walls with content. I mean, essentially, and we make videos, I do my shorts. But back to that, every time we upload it, it takes them a day. And then, so that's why you guys are seeing that we just upload the next morning. Some of you guys are like, I'm not seeing no shorts. And it's because they're age restricted. Then they relieve them. Because how we know is we'll get 16 views, 28 views, and let's say 30 views. And then the next day, when it's unappealed and unage restricted, there's 500, 600, 700 views on it
Yeah.
plus. So it's like, they're not just every time we upload, they don't just put our content out for all you guys to watch. They have to age restrict it, then we have to unappeal it, every day,
It's
seven
the
times a
fight.
week.
It's the
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah. And it's the fight against the algorithm, and I do it because it's like, this stuff deserves to go out to people. People deserve to have a connection with other people that use and smoke cannabis and have knowledge and teach people. And it's a good thing and it creates a healthy environment, but YouTube don't seem to think so because it's not federally legal. It might be legal in your state. It's legal in my state. And of course, it's legal in Harry's state. He's right here. But other people out there watching essentially. And YouTube don't care. They still consider it federally illegal and dangerous and harmful acts. And I would never tell any of you guys watching at home to do anything like that that's dangerous or harmful.
Well,
Actually, we've pointed out multiple times if you go through our channel, I have receipts on this. You can see where I said, don't do this, don't do that, don't do, because I'm not telling you what to and not to do, I'm telling you this is dangerous. Like when I told you to make the CO2, I've said 100 different times. Don't be in a confined space and make organic CO2. It puts out really high and it puts out really low. It's not fluctuated. So, make sure you're in aerated, make sure it's not around pets, make sure it's not around kids. We've mentioned all this hundreds of times and everything.
Yeah,
We've told you, when we smoke 7, 8 gram joints, hey, don't do this at home because you may not be able to. Don't just watch us. Of course, everybody's watching as an adult and can think for themselves, but you got to say that for YouTube. and and we have, so we don't direct anybody to do anything harmful, or they may get hurt. I got to watch my wording really
carefully.
carefully because of YouTube. But yeah, we don't put out harmful content. We put out just growing and cannabis content. Everything and anything you need to know about it is on one channel. Boom. And if it isn't, what, just give it some time.
It will be.
Yeah, it will be for sure because we upload like crazy. I mean, luckily me and Harry are luckily enough to kind of work and live at, he lives at his house, I live at mine, of course, but we both work at homes where I'm getting at. And we have a lot of things going on in real life, but we do have a lot of time too, and we fill that space with just making content, and we love doing it. You guys at home love watching it. And we do it every Monday. We pump out a podcast, we pump out 3 4 videos. Some of them are low energy. I'm not going to lie. We're working on that because it's just sometimes at the end of the day and you've been filming all day doing take after take, and you just get
And blowing down,
yeah, your
yeah.
brain feels fried, dude. You're in front of bright lights, you're talking constantly, but I enjoy it, and I love teaching people things, and I always have. People are like, why don't you become a teacher? Because I just wanted to do it in my own way, and this was my own way of doing it, and the cannabis plant over the years has given me so much. I feel like this is my way of contributing back, spreading not misinformation, but direct scientific, evident
And trying to
information
break it
about the
down
cannabis plant.
and trying to break it down into simple terms so we're not sitting
Yeah,
here saying all these
boring
scientific
you.
words that you gotta
Yeah,
look up and try to understand what
because,
we're even talking about.
yeah, guys, there's so many videos where we did in the beginning of our career where we obviously wanted to show you guys, and, that we do know what we're talking about. We do know what we're doing. So we broke it down like me and Harry would when we're talking, and we get really boring with, bigger, just complicated aspects of cannabis and concentrates and molecules and this and that and the other. So, it's just really boring. But we have those videos just to show you guys, hey, we know what we're talking about. You can look this up. This is all scientific backed up. So it's solid information. I would never tell you to go buy something because a company told me to. I don't care what they say. I'm not that kind of person, but I created the channel and I don't want my opinion swayed in any other way. I want it to be for the people watching, and that's all companies. We only work with certain companies, because of this. So we're of course sponsored by a great company, and we believe it's a great company. We shop there, we get stuff, we use the stuff. It's high quality. The staff are nice, the people are nice, they're informational. Like, they're just great people. It's a chill environment. It's quiet. It's nice. And it's just a great store with a great bunch of people. And they have different locations everywhere. So, they were nice enough to give us a sponsorship, and they have great products. And we definitely push them because they are a great bunch of people, and we believe in their business, and it does excellent. Because the owner, has his hands in several other things in the cannabis industry. So, and him and his wife are a great bunch of people. So, we're truly thankful for that. But again, we do only work with certain companies, because there are some, like, if Miracle Grow called us up, we'd tell them to go, jump off somewhere. in Minecraft, you know, hypothetically. Okay, YouTube, there's some editing for you. But you know, we wouldn't work with Miracle Grow and tell you guys, hey, you should
We
grow cannabis with Miracle Grow. That's
we
no,
we
you
we,
know.
we tell them to go play the art game.
Yeah, yeah, I want to raft somewhere out in the middle of the Atlantic and stay there. Um, you know, so but yeah, we don't get persuaded, and we're not going to tell you, you know. And if we buy something and it ends up being junk and not worth your money or your time, we will tell you. If it's low quality, we will definitely tell you. There's a lot of those legal pins in the beginning back in like 28. Well, I can't remember what year it was when we did them. We've done so many videos. 2023, dude. We did those, and they were horrible. And I've told you guys, like some of them tasted good and had some all right effects. Some of them were just junk. Like I wouldn't buy this stuff. I've even mentioned it in the comment section. Like, yeah, I've ate these gummies, like these resin or Delta 8 gummies. You know, there's one called Zombie. And I ate so many packages and containers of those. And I'm like, I'm not eating no more of these. These make me feel weird. They don't make me feel like I'm stoned, and they suck. Like, you know, they don't make me feel like, you know, so I'm just,
That's the problem with all those synthetically derived, hemp derived kind of,
yeah, if it's hemp derived, it gives me a headache and hairy, dude. Like, it just has that nasty plant flavor. Tastes like stems and leaves and not like flour.
hay.
Yeah, and hay, it's junk, man. So, but there was a lot of you guys that asked me questions in it, and I just told you guys you're better off buying THC gummies. And but if that's your thing, then they're all right, I guess. I didn't enjoy them, and I even said that in a video, and I tell people that. I give them my honest opinion. I don't want to knock something somebody else likes. Maybe you like Delta 8, maybe you like smoking CBD. I don't. But you know, I mean, there's very rare occasions I'll use CBD. Like I gotta have like a migraine, like or something. Like I don't know, but yeah, I don't knock anybody. You know, if you smoke a lot, if you only hit it a couple times a week, I don't care. I'm just here to show you guys, you know, all this cannabis information that we've stocked up for you guys, and we want to teach you guys love of the plant. There's a lot of channels I feel like that focus on giant things like look at my new car, look at my new watch, look at this, look at that. And a lot of people want to escape from reality to be real. I want to be real with you guys. That's why a lot of us watch YouTube to do things we can't do, or, you know, maybe somebody has something new that you can't get, or something like that. Or maybe it's just to live through somebody else's life because yours is boring at the moment. There's many reasons why people watch YouTube. Some people just like the content creators, and like learning. There's many reasons, but where I'm going at with this is essentially that's kind of why I even created the channel. You know, was because there was so much misinformation and so much stuff I watched, and it was here, there, everywhere. Nothing was just comprised into this nice little package simply. Everything was explained so complicated, and these words aren't necessary when you can break it down. So it
They're
was just
explained so briefly that you're like,
yeah.
you're sounding.
And there's so much information to it. So it's like, here, you know, let me gather this in a channel and give this. Because my whole life, guys, I studied a lot of different things. And when I studied a lot of different things, people started asking me different questions. People even asked me what to do about their in real life, you know? So those type of questions like relationships, family members, friends, what's going on with their finances, like all these questions in real life came to me, but there was also a lot of cannabis ones. So I'm like, I want to inform people, man. If you don't know this, that's okay. You know, you don't have to know this. Don't feel dumb. The only stupid question is the one you don't ask, right? You know, so, you know, that's how everybody learns, man. Is there anything in chat?
Nope, I got
Okay.
shit in chat.
Okay. So that's the thing everybody ends up learning, you know, or the way people end up learning is you just ask questions, you know. Curious mind is never fed. Yeah, you know, wouldn't you say, Harry, you're quite like that yourself?
I'm always curious about stuff, always learning things, always getting into anything that interests me, really.
Yeah, I gotta say, I have multiple interests and hobbies, but that's one of the reasons why I came out to the channel. It's just, you know, they need that there's just needs to be some realness in YouTube, you know. We have our cinematic things where we, you know, we still act, I still act as myself. I
Right.
just act a little more extremer, you know, with my, you know, exaggerations and movements and stuff, but I don't play a character on YouTube now.
Right.
You know,
Right. And I think
I'm me.
when you're creating something like a sitcom or a show, the kind of character that you are kind of has to represent the character that you're playing, because if not, it just doesn't make
I
sense.
don't think people like that in YouTube. I think people that watch comedic, I mean, this is just my opinion solely, so no one slaughter me in the comments, but I don't know if I can use that because of YouTube, that word, but and
It's already done.
no one off me in Minecraft, and for this. But my own
It's called griefing.
yeah, griefing. Yeah. But anyway, man, my opinion on this is people watch content for or what was it?
The content for human connections
Oh
we were
yeah,
trying to get
yeah,
at.
yeah. Okay, so people watch it more for content, man. What was that?
It was a weird noise. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we
Is
have
the
a mic?
microphone? It's still alive.
Yeah, it's live. Okay. Okay. So anyway, people watch it for a connection, ultimately. And I mean, I feel like YouTube, in a sense, really takes that away from a lot of people. We're checking some technical difficulties, kind of sidetracked me from even what I was saying. Okay, I've got it
We're
pulled
good.
up. Okay,
We're good.
cool. All right. So the computer just made a weird noise, but I feel like a lot of people, you play a character, and I don't think people like that. I think people watch characterized content for that, but I mean, I think the majority of people out there want to know the real person they're watching, not
Well,
this fabricated
that's why
ideology behind a camera, you know?
that's why I tried to when I was writing the sitcom, I wasn't trying to write us as some over exaggerated characters. I tried to write us as who we are. You know what I mean? Now, the dialogue that's in there is stuff that we would actually say.
Yeah.
The situations that happen are, some of them are grounded in reality, or some of them are really get out there and we're doing some crazy stuff. But, it's still grounded in a place where, like, okay, this is the situation. This is what we're going to do to try to get through the situation. It's not, it's grounded in somewhat reality, even if the situations get a little crazy.
Yeah, like I said, it's much like the best way to sum it up, even though it's not
Oh
beat off.
shoot.
Hold
Southwest Homegrown says we are frozen. All
We are
right.
frozen. Hold on, guys. We're fixing it. That's what that noise was.
My camera might have died.
Oh, did the camera die? And there's just audio.
Where
Oh, God, that's embarrassing. Hold on, guys. We're going to put on another battery. Just bear with us.
is the other battery?
Hold on. I got to grab the battery, guys. It's right here. Oh, oh, oh. Anyway, guys, just bear with us. I apologize. I knew that noise was something. So hopefully you guys can still hear me through the audio. We're just switching out the battery here. I forgot to charge. We have two different cameras, a more expensive one and a less expensive one that we do lives with because it's easier to do lives with the less expensive one. The more expensive Canon camera, I forgot what it is. Harry would know
It's
what it is.
Canon.
Yeah, it's Canon, but what kind of camera is it specifically? Do you remember?
I think it's the ROSE 100.
ROSE 100, Harry thinks it is. Hopefully you guys have audio. Pretty sure probably not. I don't know. Disconnected. No, that's fine, Harry. No worries, man. We'll just get it reconnected and it shouldn't end our stream. Because I still see the things here and we're just paused. So I think if we just turn the camera back on, I think we'd be all right. It's kind of weird looking at us pause, dude. It's like, what the hell, man? Why does this happen? Last time the computer overheated, can of fam, it was ridiculous. I had the computer. I didn't know, but I had it sat up on something and then like overheated, made some crazy noise. We could have blew our computer up. And it would have took a grip to get another one. This computer we use is like $2,100 and it's just a laptop. It's not actually like a computer system. Harry's figuring things out. So if you guys hear some weird noises, that's why. I think they shut it. I don't think the stream stopped completely. You, Harry?
Let's see what's going on over here. See if I can get
Okay.
the camera back on.
Hold on, man. Harry's trying to get the camera back on.
Cool.
I'm still frozen in time. Bear with us, guys, if you can hear me. Much appreciated. Her camera battery died. We were doing a live, obviously. I mean, but
Yeah, so we've almost
it
ran this
just,
live for 3 hours now.
it's almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, can we do an outro or like, I don't even know if I'm still live. Can you see live chat? Somebody say, like, guys, let us know in the live chat if you can hear me. If you can hear me, let me know. Anybody, just let me know if you can hear me.
It's funny. It's funny. Southwestern Hope Grows says, I was so stoned I didn't notice for a minute. I thought you guys were just still talking.
I feel it. I didn't even notice we froze, guys. I'm so sorry. It don't matter what kind of equipment you use in the YouTube world. I've seen millionaire people that are YouTubers and get equipment and it does the same stuff. And then we had problems with audio in the beginning. Let me know if you guys can hear me out there, though. Anybody in the chat? Nobody in the chat?
I'm not sure what's happening here. Did this stop? Oh, that's still running.
Yeah, it's still running. We're still live. They can hear us, I believe.
Wild.
Oh, man, what the fuck?
Yeah, whenever that camera disconnects, it's really
Sorry,
hard to
guys,
get it
about the language, but
to reconnect.
it's like every time, man. Every time. Yeah.
Let's see.
I don't make sure you don't delete the stream, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't do that. No, no, Harry. This is a catastrophe. Yeah, with the audio, camera frozen. Man, they need to make batteries last longer. I don't understand this.
Yeah, the batteries typically don't last. Let's see, maybe we got a new comment.
We got
Oh,
new.
I hear you.
Okay, okay. Don't give up on us. We're trying to figure it out. Harry's trying to get it going again. We're still frozen. Harry's our tech guy. He's got it under control, can of fam.
Figure
I
this
don't know
out.
what's going on. I'll admit that.
Well, is that still the wrong one? That's still the wrong one.
Oh, that's still the wrong one. No worries, man. We'll figure it out.
Let me try again. Let's see.
Yeah.
Capture device. Let's try.
For those of you that just came in, our camera battery died, and it's we're trying to get the stream back on. It's showing that we are live. You guys can hear us. You confirm that in the chat. Thank you. But we cannot get this thing up yet. The actual like camera screen, I guess it would be.
Oh wait, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it
Okay.
working. Look at
Cool.
me.
Yeah.
I made it work.
We're back, guys.
I just had to fight with it for a little bit.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Technology.
Awesome. Okay, we're back. Thank you guys for staying with us. What happened? Like I said, our camera battery died. My bad. Sometimes I forget to charge it. It's just been a lot going on recently in real life. I have to move here soon. Come Friday, we get the keys to the newer place. So there's going to be a lot of packing. And right now, my life's all crazy and in disarray and in boxes. It's strange, Harry. It's strange having your stuff in boxes. I'm the type of person that has everything, place for everything, and everything in its place. Can you guys hear us okay? Is the mic?
Oh yeah, that should be good.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
All right.
this at least tells me the battery here, which the mic's battery is getting low, but
Okay.
I do have a replacement for it.
Yeah, okay, cool. Cool. Yeah. Okay, making sure, guys. Sorry about that, like I said. But back to things. So, like I said, mentioned earlier, we're going to have that sitcom coming out. We do have the shorts, and those are going to be of the 4 different strands you guys can check out. And another thing is, we got 3 new videos coming out this week, Harry. And we
Um,
just released one, Rudder Rallis.
yeah.
What is a ruderalis? So if you guys are curious, what is a ruderalis or ruderalis? It's pronunciated 2 different ways, I've heard. But let me know if you guys think that's interesting down in the comments section, because we're trying to give you guys like little history parts of different things, man. Throw that in there every now and then. Try to make things interesting. Try to keep it educational and some, aspects of it. We're going to have our fun, crazy videos and our creative ones, definitely. But that's just a little taste of what's to come. We do have some Munchie Mondays coming here soon. We're going to have one of those coming. We just have to get a few ingredients. Got to
Yeah,
make some can of sugar and can of salt.
right.
So once we make the can of sugar and can of salt, we will have some awesome edibles,
What
things you wouldn't believe.
you use sugar and salt for so many ingredients. So if you can infuse those two things, now you can infuse so many different foods with those cannabinoids. So many different foods, you know?
I gotta say, yeah, most definitely. There's a lot of different things you can, and we're going to keep it secret because it'll make the Munchie Mondays a little more interesting. There are things you wouldn't expect to be infused that we need this for. So, and it's going to
All
be
kinds of cool stuff.
fire. We got that sitcom, like I said, that's going to be fire. We got some fire
Yeah,
flowers coming on the shorts.
the sitcom's probably going to take a
It's
lot of
pretty cool.
time to get fully shot, edited, and put out because the goal with it is to get it. I want to roll it out like an actual sitcom, so you'll get an episode every week. Typically on a Friday is what I plan to drop it on, but every Friday you should get a new episode for 6 weeks because I only have 6 episodes made. The last episode is more or less like a feature-length film, so that'll be fun.
And we will be comprising all those episodes, even from the beginning of the sitcom, all together comprised into one long full length video. That will be awesome, dude. It will take a lot of effort on Harry's end, I gotta say. So definitely, when that happens, please go give it a like, 'cause Harry spent hours of his life on it, but it will be
Yeah,
fire.
I spent like a month writing out the script. It only took a month. It wasn't that long.
I know. I think the Mars took back took a little longer.
No, the Mars Tokes Back was my first attempt at trying to make a sitcom idea. So it was a little rough and I don't think it took me that long. 'Cause I mean, I wrote the Kazagman in like 2 weeks.
That is true. That is very true.
Kazagman's huge.
Yeah, I was a long ass script, dude.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
Which I mean, that one was just the budget to shoot that thing was
Yeah,
like a $30,000 budget.
it was a script that came out, but unfortunately, there was such a big budget to what we wanted to do with it. The idea had to get scrapped and minimalized. I mean, honestly, and it got
Well,
minimalized,
and
but
that's why I moved to the sitcom idea because it's kind of like shorter stories. It's a little bit easier. I didn't mean for the last episode to be so long, but there was just so much things I wanted to jam into that last episode. It just ended up running a little bit longer than what I wanted. But ultimately, it's fun. It's a buddy comedy. It's an adventure. It's
fresh
based
and new.
it's something different. It's a different idea. It's not the same save the cat style that you see. It's not the same rewatch thing that Hollywood keeps doing. It's fresh. Just fresh ideas and just fun, goofy stuff. And, there's jokes and there's action and there's, just all kinds of crazy tension. And uh, I don't think there's really drama, but there is like
Yeah,
really
there's
interesting
conflict,
things.
mild conflict in it.
There's conflict.
It's funny, but yeah, we got a whole lot for you guys coming, a whole lot stuff going on in real life. The in real life move, which I have a lot of stuff and a grow room to set up. And we have all that content coming. We got Munchy Mondays coming. We got a new sitcom coming. We got flowering and flower development shorts coming of 4 different strands. And we got always more content and videos coming, wouldn't you say, Harry? What's going on in the
Oh,
comments?
Tim Swink said just use the new AI shit. I said no, man, green screen and a
Yeah,
lot of editing, no AI.
yeah. Yeah, we I used one time in the community post just an AI picture I found of a bud, and usually I kind of crop and edit my own thumbnails to do for like lives and all this stuff. But for one time I was just like, I'll use this AI image, and 6 people let me know that wasn't the move to make. They hate that stuff on YouTube, and then it was seven, eight. I'm
We
like,
we we
okay.
have enough AI slop.
Yeah, yeah. So we just hand do everything on here, honestly.
It's either hand drawn by
We pay
me
for
or
it, we
I'll go and
do
edit
it.
images myself using the various programs that I have. Like,
Yeah, and it's fire. It turns out pretty good, man.
sometimes I have my ones that you have to go in and re-edit, but
Yeah, yeah. You gotta say. So you got all of that looking forward to. Can of Family got much content coming, and I'll show you guys a tour of the new grow room. It's supposed to be a new remodeled place as well. They're going to remodel it and have us move in. So I will show you guys that. But until then, there will be a lot of moving. There will be a lot of content still uploaded to the channel, so you have something to watch. If you're a shorts watcher, we'll have your shorts. If you're a videos watcher, we'll have those videos for you, definitely. We'll have the Munchie Mondays, even if you have your specific favor, so or favorite, excuse me. But we've been filming for like 3 hours now, I believe.
Almost 20 more minutes we'll be under
20
three.
more minutes and we'll be at 3 hour live stream, Can of Family. So we still got some things to do tonight. Unfortunately, we're going to go ahead and close out this episode, Can of Family. So thank you for liking, subscribing, being here in the podcast. There will be another one Monday. Hopefully, it'll be a little earlier. Can't promise too much, but we will have one for sure. And as always, the content will be coming out. I can't even talk. We've been filming all day and doing this for 3 hours. Much love. Again, my name is Dustin from Two Buds in a Jar, and with me is Harry Cola from Two Buds in a Jar. And we're burning
Burning
out.
out, man.
We'll see you next time. Yeah, we'll do that.